All right, we are doing a Space Marine 2 review with my buddies here, Noah
Hey, oh,
and Hugo,
Hi.
the Latinx of the group. Anyways,
Swear to God. Swear to the gods.
so
Swear to
we're going to
anathema, I will
discuss,
eradicate you.
for the first half here, we're going to be discussing the campaign, operations, and multiplayer, spoiler free. And in the latter half, we are going to be discussing campaign and operations with spoilers. And first up on the list is going to be the characters of the campaign, and first up is Titus. So what did y'all think of Captain Titus? Or Lieutenant Titus, I'm sorry. Wrong
so I
game.
thought he was a very good character. I mean, I played the first game, and if I remember right, you two didn't.
I did not.
And
I did not know.
it was a good. They kept his personality, they kept his demeanor, they kept him right, but they also added that change to him where he is obviously a little bit more he internalizes more instead of being more open in the.
Because he was learning from his mistakes and from the first game.
Correct.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
also did
I
change
think
his voice actor, but that's fine. He sounds
I really
similar.
didn't notice. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't notice until someone mentioned it to me.
I
Yeah,
think
he
I think
sounds
the
the
I think the
same.
voice actor they chose for Titus in Space Marine 2 was amazing.
He did very well.
Like what did I say? What did I say off recording? That he sounded very stalwart but commanding.
Which is what you need in a
Yeah.
In a leader.
space marine, in a leader space marine, whatnot. Because I mean, you
Yeah.
can't be a space marine and have a really high voice.
No,
I'm
you
that
really
bitch.
can't. You can't be Hugo's impersonation of
Kato Sicarius
Kato
from
Sicarius.
TTS. From TTS. From,
I am the best Space Marine to ever live.
from, from TTS.
Fucking
Ugh.
TTS and what it has done to 40k. Anyways,
The best parts of 40k.
Best parts of 40k.
unfortunately, a lot of people use it as actual lore for 40k. But anyways,
That's another discussion.
that's a whole
Yeah.
different can of worms to open up. I did like Titus as the first time meeting Titus as a character. He felt strong. He didn't feel shoehorned in. He didn't feel like it was complete ass full of, oh, Titus is here, we instantly win, Omega Lol. It felt right. He's a space marine. He's a firstborn. He's not.
He's an ultramarine.
He's an ultramarine. As much as people like to shit on ultramarines, I find them, somewhat enjoyable with how their lore can go, even though they win a lot.
They're the basis for Space Marines for a reason.
Yeah, they're the poster boy. It used to be, I think, salamanders, but
I think it used to be salamanders, but they had to get away from that because of all the flamethrowers and stuff.
yeah. Even though flamethrowers are fucking metal.
Metal. Yeah, they're super cool.
They're frowned upon in war in the Geneva Convention.
Don't worry, the salamanders are still our poster boy in our hearts.
Yeah, they really are. Goats.
I thought it was the Iron Warriors.
Shush
No,
you.
we don't talk about them.
Oh, okay.
Goddamn Alpha Legion spies.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Anyways, I did like his development throughout the story. It felt natural. I can't really think of anything else to say about him without going into spoiler territory. What about you two?
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, all I can really do is discuss his personality, discuss what he is as a character, but that goes into too much spoilers.
I know
I'll wait
from
until then.
clips I've seen, he's less chatty than usual.
He was a lot more chatty in the first game.
But that makes sense because of what occurs in the first game of him getting backstabbed by Private Kowalski over here.
Leandros.
Leandros.
It's also a really good concept called character development.
He was also a lot more trusting in the first game. Like you can. Yeah. Let's just say he was a lot more trusting in the first game.
Yeah, he became a stoic hero instead of just still constantly talking, which I didn't mind him being stoic because the other characters did actually pick up where he was light on conversation. The other two, being Charon and Gadriel, did pick the weight up there.
They started feeding off of each other. And speaking of Charon and Gadriel,
speaking of Charon, what did y'all think about him?
To correct you, it's Chiron.
Chiron.
But yeah, it's all good. Yeah. I loved Chiron.
I knew I was going to do that.
So to preface this, we all three of us played the campaign.
We all did, all together,
Yes.
live on twitch.tv/Dexidius. Boom, got the plug.
Can't
Nice.
believe it, dude.
Don't go watch it.
I was the one who I was
Yeah,
the one
I'm
who played
terrible.
He's also a hater.
And also, it's
no.
pronounced Charon.
The way it's
Shut
spelled,
up.
it is.
It is.
Charon.
Oh,
Aaron. It's
Anyways.
Aaron, baby.
Speaking of Charon, I liked him. I thought he was a really great character. He how do I dive into this without going into spoilers? He was actually a very.
Honestly,
I think for being a. Go ahead.
I feel like for him being the youngest in the group, he felt very hardened.
Upbeat.
Like he already felt like he knew what he was doing in a way with the conversations and dialogue you get even at the first parts of the mission. Just him shit talking, him just being ready to step up and do something for his lieutenant and the captain.
For being nearly as stalwart as Titus, he was actually a very upbeat character because he was trusting of Titus throughout the series or throughout the game.
Yeah,
Like he was ready to take orders.
I don't think in the beginning he was really trusting of Titus. I think he was just enjoying in the reveling in the fact that his buddy Gadriel was getting put down a peg. He was messing with him. He was like, yeah. And now now Titus is above you. How's that feel?
Yeah.
now Titus is your
right.
boss. What now?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Chiron really did jab at Gadriel a whole bunch of times throughout the campaign.
Yeah, he never questioned the orders, but he also was he didn't follow up on it. He wasn't like, who is Titus? What is Titus? Why is he here? He was more like stuck on the part of how Gadriel was stuck on that. And he was like, yeah, you're asking all these questions, but now he's your boss, bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of asking all these questions, I think it's a good time to now move on to Gadriel.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do actually like Gadriel. I was the one that played as Gad. At first, I was a little worried because I had heard about Leandros in the previous game, how he was a brown noser. He was always getting into people's business, especially with Titus. And it felt natural with Gadriel. To be honest, he was the original captain of the squad. He was the sergeant. He was probably still training Charon, to be honest, with the drama. I'm speaking poorly right now. Just the way those two were, because Charon's talking shit the whole game to Gadriel, and Gadriel's just like, fuck you, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll deal with
because
it.
if I remember right, Charon, whatever the hell his name is, was like he was just like a battle brother, where Gadriel was like a sergeant. So technically, Gadriel was above him, but they were, on equal footing, which is common in the Space Marine lore.
Yeah.
Just like in general,
Mm-hmm,
but it's like it's nice to see that because in most games where they show like the different rankings, they always seem to pull the I'm a higher rank than you, so you have to respect me dynamic nowadays.
Yeah. In most, not only games, but media, either books, movies, TV shows, the higher ranking official will go, yeah, fuck you. I'm your leader. You don't talk to me like that. It gets kind of
Titus didn't really seem that. And Titus didn't really seem that way.
Titus didn't really do that.
Gadriel, go ahead.
Yeah, Titus really didn't do that.
Neither did Gad even. Like Gad had a few times in his right where he could have gone, no, fuck you. I'm a higher rank than you, Charon. Like, don't act like that, Chiron. Charon.
Charon.
I honestly think there was only one or two times throughout the campaign where Titus actually was like, hey, shut it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull rank on you. Stop that.
And and at those times when Titus had to say that, usually Charon came in and was like, listen, buddy, you need to Gadriel, chill. You're stepping on some toes here that you don't want to step on.
We're getting a little into spoiler territory here, but that's kind of okay. We're not specifying
talking
too
about
much,
specific.
but
yeah, at least we're not talking about specific moments.
It felt right within the first meeting of Gad and Charon that Gad was aware. He was a little worried because you got this random fucking guy. He's got 4 gold studs. So he's been in service at least 200 years. He's just a lieutenant. He's taking over his squad. He's going to be worried about where the fuck did you come from? Why the fuck are you in my squad? What did you do? It all makes
why do you have
sense
rank over me?
compared to how Leandros was, where he was just a cunt.
What was great about Chiron and Gadriel is that they all naturally bounced off of each other with Titus especially like they actually enhanced Titus's arc throughout the stories, and it was nice to see. It was really nice to see how these characters were just able to have banter between each other like throughout the missions.
Yeah, it felt like an actual squad, not
It was seamless.
just
also.
main character walking around doing everything for everybody and everyone agrees with him. TM. And
is there anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think anything about Gad anymore. I think we're good on
I
that.
think
But now we're off to the captain, Akaran.
of the second company.
Yes, Captain Akaran. I felt his portrayal was pretty accurate to the position he was in. He got put in a shit situation of what
he
had to deal with Lieutenant Titus and his whole background. Don't want to speak too much on it because you'll see what happens and throughout the story. It makes sense with how he was very untrusting of both Titus and Gad, because Gad seemed to be on a short fuse at the beginning and was willing to jump on anything that looked even a small amount out of the codex. And I felt it worked out pretty well. All the characters grew in their own way during the story.
I really liked his voice actor too. Like, for being like, kind of like a side-ish character, like he's a main part of the story, but like, a side-ish character.
Yeah,
his voice actor was really good.
A supporting character, I think, is his role.
Even being a secondary character, he still like command. He still like felt like he was a massive presence throughout the story, and he was.
Yeah, it's that like Irish accent, that Irishish, like whatever it is, accent.
Scottish.
Or Scottish even. I'm not entirely sure.
It's
one of those two.
Not sure.
We just pissed off like the two Scots in the world, or Irishmen in the world.
We just pissed off the Irish and the Scots in a single sentence. Yeah, you all sound the same.
It's just, oh man, I gotta find that meme
Are you
now.
allowed to say that?
It's fine. They can cry about it in the comments.
Yeah.
And then boost my stuff. Boom.
Wow,
Boom. Absolute win. Hear that, guys? Be angry with us. Makes us better.
It makes me happy.
All right.
All right.
It
Next
fuels
off
us.
is the Guardsmen as a whole.
Peak.
Like
Like
I
that's
loved
like,
it.
like a one-word thing, they were peak in perfection.
It is no secret that I love the Guard. Guard is awesome. And
what was great to see about the Guard is to see the size difference between Space Marines and the Guard. You don't see it a lot. You really don't see it a lot in video games. I mean, the only example I can think of, like off the top of my head right now, is like Dawn of War, which is which is a really old series.
Really old.
Itself.
And even then, I think the scaling's a little off because they made
the scaling is very off.
Yeah, they made the Space Marines seem a little squatty, if you know what I mean. Like
more wide than tall.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you would with a dwarf.
Yeah.
You don't mind if I dive into like one of the first missions. I'm not gonna say a lot, but the first mission is like the greatest example of like you standing next to a guardsman. They are short compared to a space.
Even
Marine,
just in the battle barge, standing next to the AgMech, the servitors, all that. You're massive compared to these people.
You feel like a titan next to them. And speaking of like the first mission, that's where we meet one of the most important characters to the Guard, Major Sarkana.
Yeah.
Who
I didn't have any problems with her.
Oh no, I remember when we first landed, I was like, that's how you write a
that's how you write a guard woman.
That's how you write a strong female woman without forcing it down our throat. Like you can tell she kicks ass. She has a huge scar across her face, and you can tell she just absolutely has seen like the shit.
I'm pretty sure she's got a few medals on her chest too. Like you can tell that this is a tough bitch.
Remind me the name of that one woman who was like subservient to Angron.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fucking.
yeah.
I can't remember her
Call
name.
her name off
I
the
always,
top of my head.
but she wasn't subservient. Let's put it that way.
She was high
No,
ranking.
no,
She,
no, no.
she was the if I remember right, she was the captain
Latara
of the
Sarin, that's her name. Latara Sarin.
she was the captain of the flagship of the Word Bearers. No, sorry, not World Eaters. Wrong one. World Eaters. And she was also a shit kicker, but she was a shit kicker to Space Marines.
Yeah.
I guarantee
She
you,
told
you
Angron
give
to
that
stop
major.
slamming doors in her ship.
I
This is
guarantee you,
my
you
shit.
give enough time to that major, she'll probably kick down some Space Marines.
Oh,
She
I
probably
remember.
will.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Like,
There's definitely even been, I know in the lore, there's been sergeants that have been shit kickers.
I remember
And
earlier I sent you guys a video, actually, speaking of that, where it was just a normal ass guard that fought alongside a chaplain, and he's fucking with him over the Vox. Just because he knows him.
it's the guard.
And keep-
It's hard to
Gotta
not
love the
like the
guard.
guard.
It's hard to not like them. They're normal humans in a world where normal humans shouldn't be able to exist.
Exactly.
No, normal humans are fighting alongside demigods, fighting alongside demons. It's insane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's
The
demons,
guard
demigods,
are constantly
aliens,
punching above their weight, and in this game, they're showing that they can do it.
They do punch
and
above their
winning.
weight.
And winning.
To be fair, it's Cadians, but I don't. But who gives a shit? It's
Honestly,
Imperial Guard.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, like everyone says, oh, I would love to see the Death Corp of Krieg, but the Death Corp wouldn't have fit in this game.
Not
I think
at all.
the Cadians fit perfectly into this game, where they were just the right amount of professionalism and charismatic that we needed to make a good story.
I do feel like the Death Corps
Also-
of Krieg would have just raffle stomped, just absolutely annihilated the Nids because they don't give a shit.
On top of that, they would have had no personality to add to this story. It would have been sad to see.
I feel like that's a failure on the writing of the Black Library, I think is what it's called, in Games Workshop. Just absolutely not wanting to put personality into those characters because they're clones. I feel like they could be very interesting if they gave them room to breathe.
I think this isn't a discussion about the Krieg, but they'd probably be very comparable to like Titus if they had that kind of writing.
Yeah, very stoic, very little to say, but what they will say is important.
The only guardsman regiment that I would say, like I constantly has said throughout the game, like, hey, I wish I saw a little bit of them. The Catachan Jungle Fighters.
I love the Catachan. I love most of the guard,
cool.
honestly.
They're really
fucking
They're awesome. Shirtless
They
guys with big knives, perfect.
They would have actually fit. They would have actually fit in this game if there was like a militia or a group of them in this game. They would have fit just fine.
Yeah,
it would have done more than fit just fine. It would have felt right.
There were a few missions that they could have fit perfectly.
well, like honestly, one of the planets is all about like exactly their terrain.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have fit perfectly.
They would have just doing guerrilla tactics against the Tyranids.
Speaking of Tyranids, let's get
You want to start discussing how the enemies felt throughout the game? All right.
Yeah, let's get into the big and juicy.
All right. Our first antagonist of the group, the Tyranids.
Xenos.
Our favorite Xeno
the big
enemies.
cockroaches. The big cockroaches. I thought that they did the Tyranids amazingly, especially with I believe they used the World War Z engine to like
this is the World War Z game engine, I believe.
So they felt like a horde faction, which they should just be an endless tide of chitin and
bang swords,
guns, bile, bio weaponry, whatever.
Biomass, whatever you want to call it.
Just mass. I guess that's the best way to say it. Mass.
The shadow and the warp, man.
They had weight, and they did them to perfection.
Felt great.
I have over 110 hours in the game already, and I still have fun fighting them.
I love fighting them. They're great. They're awesome.
I do want to poke at it again. It really did help that the World War Z engine existed because getting a faction like that to look as hordy and as run at your face with just reckless abandon, it just really helps so much to see that. There are plenty of missions where in the distance you can see Tyranids running at enemies. Yeah, in the millions, no doubt. and it's amazing to see. It's always
The-
so lovely to see the Tyranids in action,
And there's
whether it's in the distance or it's like up close in your face.
And what's even better is they're in the millions, but they're not only on the ground; they're in the air. You see them everywhere,
Yeah, they're literally everywhere, flying
with
at
all
you.
all different sizes.
But let's actually talk about the different enemies too, since we're on that subject.
We can talk about that a little later on when we're
Oh, you
talking
sure?
about
Okay.
operations, because that's when you really have to deal with them more. But the Tyranids did feel like a real threat. It didn't feel like something the Astra Militarum could have just went, "Yep, we'll wipe them out, no problem."
Yep, easy.
They needed the space. They needed the Space Marines, and they also needed the full power of the Astra Militarum to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, they probably still haven't wiped them out, because a bigger threat shows up on the horizon that was more important at the time, that being Tzeentch. Chaos.
Hey!
And I honestly feel like they fit in really well at that moment, because it's Tzeentch, you know,
It's
it works.
It's so fucking rare to see a faction outside of the Death Guard, or just
Or
Nurgle in
Nurgle.
general.
Yeah, just
Like
Nurgle.
Nurgle is so prominent in most media. The greatest example I can think
Darktide.
of right now, Darktide. Yeah, that the entire enemy of, well, not the entire enemy of Darktide, but like most of the enemies you fight in Darktide are Nurgle related.
Yeah.
It Nurgle's a good medium to use for chaos, but sometimes you just want to see something different. And fuck all did Space Marine 2 deliver.
They did.
This, Thousand Suns were amazing. I loved
Oh,
seeing
and
them in action.
And
I love
speaking
seeing.
of
Go ahead.
speaking of Tzeentch, like they not only were they perfect, they perfectly idolized what Tzeentch is. Annoying and
Very.
annoying. Just like
Annoying, scheming.
scheming, yeah, backstabbing. Oh my god. They were so annoying.
I hate fighting them so much.
They're
I,
they're an,
I,
anno-
I-
they're
No
an annoying
secret.
threat, but I enjoy. They're an annoying threat, but I love fighting them.
yeah,
It's-
I don't mind fighting them just because they're a nice change to the Tyranids, but
It
they
is.
really are annoying.
yes.
I feel like with campaign specifically, Chaos felt fine. They didn't feel bullshit. It felt fine. You know, like the Thousand Suns feel like they should be able to punch pretty high, but we're Ultramarines, you know. We're the bestest.
We're not only Ultramarines, we're Primaris. The bestest.
Yes. I
Absolutely.
I did like the Thousand Suns. I know they're not allowed to talk because they're made out of dust. They can't talk. I would have liked more dialogue from the sorcerers, to be honest.
There was some dialogue, but it wasn't enough.
I feel like they
would've-
should have
would've
talked
liked-
more trash.
Oh, absolutely. I was
I
about
feel
to
like
say
that's
that.
a very
I wish
Tzeentch
they
thing to
shit-talked
do, to
you more.
piss you off, to make you make a
Talk-
mistake,
Yeah, I was gonna say to lull you into making a mistake.
or a false
Especially-
sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I was expecting a couple lines about the Corpse God. Like, they
Oh, yeah.
constantly rib on that whenever they're dealing with loyalists.
Oh yeah, they talk so much trash. As long as it's, even if it's just fucking the Astra Militarum, they're gonna say, "Oh, you really believe in that shit? Boing, you're dead."
No,
Boy.
they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it with whatever faction they can. They're going to shit talk them. They're going to scheme.
Shit,
they're
they
going
probably
to
shit
trick.
talk the Necrons.
No doubt, man. Your
Fucking
silent king means
Tzeentch.
nothing to us.
Pew.
Pew, pew, pop your head like a cherry.
Tzeentch, you're lame. Necron fires disintegration beam.
Tyranids, yum.
Food.
Let's
Salt.
see. Eldar, monk high.
Monkai. Meanwhile, they're shooting Beyblades at you.
And Beyblades and spindle rope.
Tau.
Using that useless Monkai.
Oh, okay, we don't talk about
weapons.
the Tau. They're a joke.
They really are.
Same with the
They
Tau
can barely
players.
Just
handle
like
like
the greater good.
they can barely handle like 5% of the just the Astra Militarum. Like, come on.
They don't understand what human rights are, mainly because they're just space commies.
All right, now we're going to do operations. I will say right off the rip, I don't know what happened during update 2.1, the hotfix, but the AI feels a lot dumber. I'm not sure what happened, how it happened, but that's just seems to be that way.
Yeah, it's just something we like. Me and Abel both noticed that they were just stupid. They just
Very.
got a lot done.
Whenever I play in operations, it's usually not alone because I don't prefer doing that. I like playing with my friends, so I prefer to almost strictly do it.
I'm mainly doing it to level up my classes so I can sit there and give guaranteed like this class is good, this class is bad, this class is fucking, if you're playing with good
Trash.
teammates, you're off and abound. You'll never lose. Unless you have something crazy happen like 10,000 Thousand Suns showing up.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to talk about the classes here first, and the very first one on the roster will be the tactical.
Are we going to give the rank or just discuss?
I feel like we'll discuss the ranks and all that while we're doing this. I feel, and I believe Noah and Hugo feel, that the class is S tier. It is a balanced class, but it is S tier. They easily have some of the best weapons in the game. Widest variety of primary weapons, at least in the game.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Their primaries are great. I think they get the chainsword as their melee weapon, which is a very good weapon.
Chainsword is melee. Bolt pistol is its secondary.
The bolt pistol is okay. It's not the worst. It's not the best. It's somewhere in the middle.
It's accurate, and that's all that matters.
I would even say that none of the guns, secondary guns, are bad. They're all pretty good. They all fit their own little niche thing.
And honestly, this comes down to the person.
It really does. Yeah, if you don't like the bolt pistol, you might like the heavy bolt pistol or the plasma pistol more. If you don't like one or the other, it's whatever.
That goes for tactical's primaries too. You can choose whatever you want because you have
I think
such a wide variety.
Like 7 guns, 8 guns even. I think.
I think he has.
Bolt rifle, auto. He has the stalker. He has the stalker bolt rifle. What else? He has the heavy bolt rifle.
I think
he's got the Melta. He's got a lot.
He's got Melta. He's got plasma.
To say the least, he's got a lot. He's got a lot. That's truly what matters. Is he's got a lot of build diversity for just his primary weapons, which will make people want to go back to the class and play it more. But that also makes it a struggle. If you want to play tactical, someone's probably already got it. If you're not joining a session.
But what matters a lot on him is his
Auspex scan. Shit is broken.
On command, no base stats. On command, what Auspex scan does is you choose an area wherever you're looking, and that area, whatever enemy's in it, as long as they walk in the radius, which is about base 8 seconds, they immediately take 75% more damage.
Guaranteed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. 75%.
For everyone.
That's an amazing statistic. Anyone can do that increased amount of damage.
Most classes have that as a perk where it's very niche to get that much damage. He gets it for free. This is on a mass amount of scale. You want to do it to a boss? Go right ahead. You want to do it to the little fucking minions? Do whatever you want. You want to fucking whiff it and not tag one guy? Go right ahead. But it's still very strong. It is broken. It's simple as it's a very broken skill, but I think the class is still balanced in a way that it feels right because the cooldown is pretty long. It's not getting it back here.
I think what makes them balanced is the fact that like your selection of primaries don't like swing the fight. They don't. Like even if you have an Auspex scan on them, they're not going to swing the fight because other classes do that for you.
Yeah, I mean he has a Melta rifle, but it's not going to do anything to bosses. That's for the minions. No. That's for like the whatever, the little guys you want to shoot the guard, the Termagant, the Hormagant. You want to shoot the fuck. It's good against the Gores though. I will say you want to mark Gores, but we'll discuss that later. Yeah, I feel like the tactical's crazy. It kind of feels like they're trolling if you don't pick them. But
yes.
And now we get to the elephant in the room.
Before that, the perks on tactical, they can they're not as effective as you hope they are, but they're good, so that matters. He has a lot of perks that can swing how Auspex works,
which is strong.
Yes, and he has perks for how his primary works, which is pretty good. And yeah, like his selection of perks are good. That's all that matters. Yes. They're especially good when they change how his Auspex works. So yeah, I wanted to poke at that before we start talking about.
Yeah, at a maximum of 200% more damage, and he can get it off a parry. It's ridiculous. It's very strong.
No, Noah, go ahead.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room is the assault class. Probably one of the most anticipated classes out of anyone. out of any of them,
Oh yeah,
and unfortunately, it is really
it
bad.
punches well
It's
below its weight. Well below
God.
its weight.
It's
We for our tier list we put him at C.
He's a C
And-
tier,
or lower.
easily, or lower
Or
even.
lower.
Yeah. I will say one good thing about Assault. He can take advantage of the weird ass bug that the devs are lying about, where if you have, say, 1% of contested health missing, and you slam down on the ground on a massive group, it heals you quite a bit, more than it's supposed to. But even then, it's still not enough. You
Yeah,
will
it's
get
not enough.
downed.
His
Your-
jetpack, you will get downed. His jetpack
Will
doesn't
mess
do
up.
what it's need. Yeah, his jetpack is kind of glitchy. It doesn't always launch right. It doesn't launch you really at all, compared to like how the jetpack works in the other
In
game
campaign
modes.
and PvP. It's weird. Sometimes you'll swear on all that's holy that you were gonna do a jump, but you dashed instead because you didn't hold it for too long or whatever. The game probably glitched and thought you'd let go.
And the
Whichever.
dash takes up a charge of your jetpack.
Yeah, you
which
lose
you only
it.
have 2.
You only have 2 charges. I think in campaign it is 2 charges. I might be wrong. I can't recall. In
But it
multiplayer,
comes-
it's
in
3.
campaign it's 2 charges, yes.
All
But it
right.
comes back
What's
instantly in
what
campaign.
I've not played Assault yet, but the weirdest thing is just how the leap works. It's
It is
so
very
different than
awkward.
campaign and multiplayer. It's consistent. You leap up and a little bit forward because because you still have momentum when
Not
you're
even
moving.
just a little bit. It's a pretty decent jump forward.
It's
It's
a
got a
decent
lot of
jump.
momentum to it. You
And
feel
also
like you're
kinda-
actually
What
jumping
what ma-
out.
And
what
it
ma-
also feels like time kind of slows down a little because to give you options of what you want to do while you're up
Mhm.
there.
Even in multiplayer, in a
what
way.
matters is that the multiplayer and campaign, the way it works in there is great. It's amazing. It's how it
Yeah.
should work. But in operations, it doesn't do that.
It's nerfed to high hell. It's not
instead
even
of
fun.
instead of leaping up really high, instead you just do this like, I would almost say a short hop forward, like enough to notice like oh, he's like on a second floor in terms of height, but it's not
Not even a
enough.
second floor. It looks
Not
like
even.
you like just
You're
it
barely
looks like you
peeking.
jumped up 2 feet.
Yeah, it
It's-
feels
it-
like you jumped
the
10
point-
feet or just about that.
The point is it's bad.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
Rough. Your cooldown takes too long. I believe if you jetpack, wait a little bit and jetpack again, it pauses the cooldown. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong about that. His 3 weapons are... He has a chainsword at least. That's strong. The Thunderhammer is pretty good if you build it right. The Power Fist, I'm not too sure. I know the Thunderhammer does feel good on the 2 lower difficulties, but the moment you start rising up in them levels, man,
That's when it starts to hurt.
it starts to suck. They don't explain. You can't sit there and look at the combos, the attack combos, because a lot of the Thunderhammer's perks are enhancing his combos, but you have to know them by heart before you get back into the battle barge. If you don't, and you see that
can't
it
look
says
at 'em.
ground pound does an extra slam, you're gonna sit. Most people, myself included, half the time was, "What the fuck is ground pound?" It's annoying.
Whenever I was using the assault class, I constantly got caught with the jetpack because even though you're up in the air, you can get pulled down and it still takes the charge, but you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, the melee Tyranids with the whip can pull you down. When they flash red where you're supposed to dodge that, your jetpack isn't counted as dodging when you're in the air. So they can pull you down. Snipers, when you're in the
Shoot
air,
you out
when
of
you
there.
are about to slam them in the face, if they shoot, your whole thing's gone. You could actually physically touch them, but if you don't touch the ground, you lost it. You just took a bunch of damage. You're probably getting hit by Hormagaunts, Termagants, whatever it is. You're getting hit. It sucks. You don't even get refunded.
Unfortunately. Yeah,
The class
it sucks.
overall the class needs to be looked at. They need changes.
He needs help. I feel like the problem is, as well as the core aspect of just the character. They changed too much. It just sucks. But if anything, if you want to play a melee class, you know what you should play instead?
Vanguard.
Vanguard. A very
So-
balanced class.
Oh,
Very balanced. If you wanna if you want to just be aggression, like you want to take a couple shots from your primary and then just get stuck in there and you want to stay there, that's the Vanguard. It's all about melee. You are just a blender, especially when it comes to a single high value target. That's where your key is. You
The
take
class,
out warriors, chaos warriors, anything that is bigger than the horde, you just wipe the floor with them.
the class looks like it's trying to play like a ballerina game, but it's playing it better than everyone else. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, oh, if you're like, oh, you're far away. Oh, I can all of a sudden pull out this fucking massive ass harpoon and just absolutely get in your face. Oh, do I need to run
Oh, yeah.
away? Is there like a Minoris enemy over there? That's the horde. Let me just go over there real quick. Does it work on
It works
Minoris
on
Oh,
enemies?
any
it works on
enemy.
everything.
Oh,
Any
okay,
enemy.
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Any enemy. And the
Except
coolest part
flyers.
about it, except flyers, that is the only unfortunate part.
Unfortunate.
But the coolest part about the Vanguard, in my eyes, is it takes a weapon that not a lot of people would look at, which is the combat knife. Who brings a combat knife into the battlefield when there's thunder hammers and power swords and chain swords? And he just takes that combat knife and he just starts carving.
He makes it
Ripping
look like the
things to
best weapon in the
shreds.
game. He
He
makes
just
it
starts
like
carving, man.
he makes it look like the best weapon in the game. It's crazy how good a Vanguard can look.
He is
And
very
where
squishy though.
he is very squishy, but if you're able to keep up the aggression and you go from target to target, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
As
Especially if you
long as
get
you
his lower level or not lower, his max level signature.
he has 3 very good signatures.
They're
Each
all
of them,
amazing.
one helps with his grapple hook, allows him to just grapple from major target to major target, which is his main target. One just, hey, if you're about to die, you just get your armor back and you live for a time. So it allows you to keep up the aggression to try to potentially heal. And the other ones, whenever you kill a Majoris enemy, which is those targets, the Chaos Warriors and the Warriors of the Tyranids, you get 10%. You get like a lot of healing, about 10%. It looks like.
And by
It's
Chaos
a
Warriors,
decent
you mean
chunk.
Space Marines? They don't actually have Chaos Warriors.
Sorry, my bad.
It's
Okay.
fine. Just
It's chaos.
it's just an
Marines.
explanation.
They know what I mean.
Explanation. It's not me like busting your balls about it.
Yeah, like, and that's like that, and that's like that's the Chaos Space Marines.
The
That's the
sorcerers.
sorcerers. That's
whatever.
everything that's everything that's bigger than like, a small thing that you get that 10% healing from.
It's generally
Mhm.
things
So-
your size or bigger.
Yeah.
If you
And-
execute it, you heal.
How would you describe his perks?
They're
His
all
perks
good.
are very good. Like, honestly, there's a competition for which perks you want to take. Because it's not like, oh, you take this perk, and that perk, and you got a good Vanguard class. If you don't take these, it's a bad class. No, all
That
his
doesn't
perks
really
have
happen.
all his perks have a reason to be there.
They feel
And it's really up
unique.
to person to
Yeah,
take which one they want.
It really is. It's not a one size fits all class build, all that shit. If you want to use the little SMG instead of the Melta, you can do that just fine. Go right ahead. Just
that
go
thing looks
have
like it
fun
could
with
shred.
that class. That class is great. And another class that's pretty great at melee is the Bulwark.
Bulwark. Ah, the Blade Guard veteran of Space Marine 2. S tier. There's nothing else to say. He is an S tier class, and if he has the right support, he is absolutely S plus. How would I put it? He is definitely another melee class like Assault, but as where Assault fails to do his job, Bulwark does it very well. And Bulwark's job is basically to hold the line. He's not meant to shred. He could, but he's meant to just stop anyone from going after your important people, like
high
your
value
sniper, your
individuals.
snipers, your heavies, your tacticals, he's meant to be the focus, and he has a great ability to keep him in that fight, and that is the
banner.
the banner. What the banner does is that in that field for about, I think it's like 15 seconds.
It's a
It
long
doesn't
time.
tell you, unfortunately.
It doesn't say, I'm going to say 10 seconds. So for 10 seconds, you basically recover the armor that you've lost. It's a gradual gain of armor,
It's not
but
instant. It's
it's just it's a gradual gain.
I
But
wouldn't say it's slow, but it's also not fast. It's somewhere in the middle. I want to say it's weird.
All that matters is that you're getting armor back, and so if you take a hit, you're still gradually getting that armor back, which saves you from taking health damage.
And
There are
dealing with the bullshit contested health system. That doesn't
to
feel...
talk about his weapons, he doesn't get a primary, just like Assault. Instead, he can only get a melee weapon and a secondary.
handgun.
He gets two secondaries, the choice of the bolt pistol and the plasma gun. I personally like bolt pistol, but I wouldn't. I'm definitely going to say plasma gun is his best secondary.
Yeah, I personally feel any class with the plasma pistol is already really, really good, because plasma pistol can do things the bolt pistol and heavy bolt pistol can't, which is actually finishing off targets. If they're too far away, you can't execute them.
It also does AoE pretty well, so it can still deal with a horde.
I will say but one negative of the bulwark is, well, two negatives actually. If you're playing by yourself, no, just AI. Good luck. The AI are fucking stupid since you're a melee class. Same with Assault. Assault has this times 10, where they're dumb. They don't shoot the high value targets to help you in the fight. They don't kill the flyers, so you have to sit there with your Nancy Pantsy ass pistol and try to kill them, and most likely run out of ammo.
Which is not the Bulwark's job, which unfortunately
it's not the fault of the class.
No,
it's the fault of the AI. That's why we say he's S tier, because we're assuming you're playing with people,
with your friends or randoms.
Well, not even just your friends. You know, random individuals. Joe Sixpack from fucking Kentucky, wherever. As long as you're playing with two people that can sense and see things and start fighting.
Two people that can actually deal the damage that you can't. Like, you're like Hugo said, you're meant to be the protector, not the
you're
carver.
A bulwark. It's in your name. You're supposed to be the wall.
And the weapons that help, the weapons that help him keep the wall is his storm shield, and he gets a choice of 3 melee weapons.
Yes.
Power sword, chain sword, and power fist. I personally prefer the chain sword, because the chain sword it's middle of the road. It feels nice, and it has nice cleave against the horde that you're going to be dealing with, because why wouldn't you be dealing with the horde? But I would argue to say that power sword is his best weapon, because it's so versatile. It's, I think, the only weapon. Is it the only weapon in the game that can change stances?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So power sword has the ability to change stances from normal sword stance to power stance. Sword stance is meant to do like very quick hits, meant to deal with the horde, and then it can go into power stance to do slow hitting light attacks that do more damage. So it's more meant for elites.
Yeah. So anything bigger than a Minoris, small guy.
That alone, including that it has some decent cleave. I don't think it's much as the chainsword can get, but I'm not sure.
It might be the same amount.
Regardless.
I think it has actually more. Like,
I've seen AI bulwarks just go to town with that sword. They're just carving through them like no tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's funny.
But yeah, that's what makes the power sword so good. Is that it's versatile. It can choose its playstyle within a moment's notice. Oh, do I see a Tyranid warrior over there and he's messing with my tactical? I'm gonna immediately switch to power stance and just wreck his shit.
And just
is that like a horde of Zangors over there? I'm just gonna switch to normal sword stance and go wreck their shit.
Yep. I will say though, there isn't one weird bug that we have noticed where,
and I've seen.
The perfect parries sometimes don't let you gun strike, but it seems like gun striking occurs at the moment you parry them. And I'm not talking about, you parry him and he shoots him in the face. Like, he does the damage during the parry. Like, just knocking his weapon out of the way does the damage.
For example, when I was the one that actually had this happen to him, I would do the perfect parry, and the gunstrike damage would go through, but I never actually had to do the animation for the gunstrike.
And sometimes it didn't do that. They just take no damage at all. So it was a very awkward situation to see that.
To elaborate on that, go ahead.
I want to blame the class on that, but it's also hard to blame something inconsistent like that on the class itself instead of just the game.
It's not the
It
class.
could also be because it could also be because of the weapon I was using, which was the Power Fist. But obviously, we would have to do further.
investigation and
to clarify
Yeah.
to include more stuff on that bug. It wasn't only the bulwark that I was seeing it on. I was playing tactical as well with chainsword, and I was having that same issue where I was perfect pairing like Tyranid warriors, and they were immediately getting gun striked and having no prompt appear. So it's not just the bulwark. I
that's
can clarify
strange.
that.
I do know
Yeah,
I've
it's really
had
weird.
times where I could have sworn I got a perfect parry, and like it
Yeah,
does the ding noise, it does all that, but you get nothing out of it. But I was like, okay, maybe I just got a regular parry, no perfect. I don't know. It's weird.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
Bulwark sport perks. They're pretty good. They're pretty nice. He has a really strong perk where if you put your banner down, everyone that was in the radius when it was put down immediately get their bar full of contested health, which is like white health. If you've ever if
If
you
you
ever
play
played, go
Bloodborne
ahead.
or watch Bloodborne, when you take a hit, you can hit them a couple times and regain your health. That's pretty much how it is. Some
Yeah.
classes can abuse it, and emphasis on abuse more than others. But most of the time, it's get an execution, like just get an execution, and your full health.
And you get armor on
Yeah,
top of that with the execution, so that's pretty good.
which is very good.
I will preface though, I have noticed a bug with that perk itself, uh, where I don't even have it unlocked, let alone chosen, and the perk is going off anyways.
And other
So
perks,
it's yeah, and
we're
other perks
doing
too.
that.
It's weird.
We're not
That's
saying
weird. That's weird.
that is not going into the strength of the class either. We're not saying because he can get those perks before he's supposed to get it. We're judging this off of a level 25 character and even a level 0 character. If we're going to be just going through the easiest difficulty, they're very strong. The bulwark specifically is very strong for what he is supposed to do. And
there's not much else to say about Bulwark.
yeah,
He's a
There
wall.
really
He
isn't.
doesn't.
most of his
He's a
perks
wall.
are useful. His signatures are pretty shit, but
He has a useful one,
strong.
but it's whatever.
but he's
They're
strong, so it doesn't
useful,
matter.
but they're not like they're not no Vanguard perk, like where like if you take it, it's like changes the game for you on like that exact signature. But the
Yeah.
bulwark is very strong.
All right,
Ironically, Assault has better ones, but we're gonna go
Uh,
off to a class that changes the dime from melee to extreme
Nothing but
range, the
range.
Sniper. I feel the Sniper is a balanced class. I think he's A tier, mainly because he's very squishy. If even the littlest of little guys get in on him, he's gonna get hurt. He's got the
and
knife.
and unlike with the Vanguard, the knife is not actually catered to his playstyle, so it doesn't
Yes.
really do much for him.
Yeah. He doesn't have perks to help it either.
His melee
He's mainly there.
perks are not good. You'd be better off getting the range perks to help your vanguards, your bulwarks, God forbid your assaults, to kill and get executes. When I was playing as sniper, my whole thing was I want to kill them in one shot so my bulwark, my whatever can get that execute and keep the pain train going. He's got really good primaries. He can do arguably the
Very good.
highest single shot damage to one opponent in the game.
What's he have access to? Bolt.
He's got the las fusel, the bolt sniper
Carbine.
rifle, the
Bolt sniper
carbine,
rifle.
and the
Stalker
not
bolt
archer,
rifle.
the stalker.
Stalker. Yeah,
Yeah.
the stalker.
I feel if you're gonna go sniper, you might as well go the las or the stock or not stock. Stalker is pretty decent, but going the bolt.
It's pretty good.
One of the negatives, the reason why I think he's an A tier is because his sniper rifle, and the las fusel have random bullet deviation. It sucks. You could be pretty much on target, you just aiming right
And
for the
miss.
forehead and miss. It's gone. It's in Berlin now.
And there's another. I've also noticed like so in the game, some of the major enemies are able to call for help, reinforcements, and you would think that the person that's able to do the highest per target hit would be able to knock because you can knock them out of that reinforcement call and be able to knock them out of it. And I've noticed even with the last fusel, which is one of the highest damaging per shot weapons in the game, it has trouble knocking him out of it.
It's very weird. It's inconsistent. Because I believe how it's supposed to be is damage done knocks them off. But even with a headshot, standing still, with all of his perks and all that, it sometimes doesn't work, which might be a problem again of the game, not the class.
Yes.
It's very strange. I know Sniper is not for everybody. His cloak sometimes feels absolutely useless. You can get hit while you're cloaked. You can get shot. You can get hit. A lot of things.
And
You
it
can get
sucks.
grabbed.
It's like playing the spy from Team Fortress 2.
In a way, it is.
Like you have a cloak, but you're still susceptible to everything.
I've been
To all
sniped
to
while
all the
I've been
scrutiny of
cloaked.
even being uncloaked.
I remember one time, Abel, you were running by me with your cloak and I was getting shot at as a Vanguard, and you get down, Mr. President, right in front of my bullet, even though he wasn't aiming for you,
Yeah,
just because it was unfortunate,
it
time.
was a very poor timing. I couldn't see the glint of, not the glint, but the laser of the sniper. It can get rough. Sniper is a very unfortunate situation to play
I
as
would
in
say
some
it's
of the
niche.
maps. It's very. I'd say in 2 maps, if you're sniper, you're gonna have a hard time if you're using the actual sniper rifles. He's gonna get pinned down. He's gonna get beat up on. They're gonna use and abuse the fact that you have no short range capability because you only have the bolt pistol and you only have the knife. Every other class does well with those, but sniper. You want your big gun, and it does what it's supposed to do very well. I know even on the hardest difficulty, you can one shot execute most of the enemies in the game that are Majoris or below, unless they have a
Oh,
shield.
yeah.
But that's a different story. The shield system is kind of dumb. I don't like it. It's a weird class. His perks are great. Well, they're not great. They're okay-ish. Small buffs here and there. He can do some crazy damage if you build him right, but I feel like he's gonna kind of fall off if your team's too aggressive.
How about more guns though? We talk about more guns, more DACA,
The
more
fucking heavy.
Heavy.
The heavy is fun.
Guys,
Oh, super fun.
the
Super
heaviest S
fun.
tier, the heaviest balanced.
It is a very balanced class. He's got the same problem as Sniper, but not as bad. Where if things start to get close, he can struggle. He does have the multi-melter though. He's got that, so he can stagger things. He can push his weight around. He can punch well above his weight as well. He struggles with one map specifically, but
Yeah.
that'll
Well,
be for
that's
the
if you
spoiler
bring-
section, and that's only if you bring the Melta.
Yeah, that's speaking if you bring the wrong gun.
But that's
And
on
it's not
you.
even
You
it's
fucked
not
up.
even like the whole map you struggle if you bring the Melta.
It's the
just,
very end.
Yes.
A very specific section, yeah. But let's not forget to talk about his guns.
Oh,
He
He's
yeah.
has a
got-
multi-melta.
He's got the multi-melta, which is fucking broken.
Baller.
It's
Yeah.
very
it's
fun
really
to
fun.
use. It's broken for multiple
Lots of
reasons.
damage.
It does a lot of
Lots
damage. If you build it right, it can hold a lot of ammo. It'll
Mm-hmm.
clear out a section, and it's broken because it's fun. It's so fun to sit there and watch all these little fucking guys run up to you and just boom, turn them all to dust. It's so funny. It's great.
He also has a plasma gun fusilier and the heavy bolter.
Yeah, he's got the plasma incinerator, I think is what it's called in.
Oh,
For
sorry.
Primaris.
The thing is, I think
it's
I think it's called the heavy
Plasma
heavy
incinerator,
plasma
I believe,
incinerator. Yes.
is the name of it. And he's got the
Right.
heavy bolter. The heavy
Yes.
bolter can be fun. It really is fun to just sit there and hold the trigger and just be a heavy
Mow things
weapons
down.
guy and just turning things to shreds. The heavy plasma can be really fun too. Just lobbing regular shots or
That-
even a full
Lobbing
charge
that
shot.
big gloob.
That
right at
big old
someone.
ball, and it's even funnier. It's not funny when it happens right away. When you get a perfect line of sight, perfect headshot lined up, and random bullet deviation just
And it goes woo right off to the
has
side. And you're
has
like,
it
oh, there
like
it goes.
barely miss his fucking ear. It's funny later on, and when you're sitting there and remembering it, but at that moment it sucks, especially if it's a very important shot you needed to hit. He's got the plasma pistol as well, which I feel is the best gun in the game for the secondary slot. It's great in my opinion. That's my opinion. These two, I think, don't agree, but
I
That's
like the
fine.
bolt pistol.
Bruno, bolt pistol's a personal preference. No,
Now, again,
I
I
do
like
absolutely believe plasma pistol's best.
I like bolt pistol just because I feel bolt pistol is a little bit better in the melee when you're like you
Yeah.
gotta be like quick. But if you have like if you have the time to like place your shots and like maybe charge it up, yeah, plasma will be your ticket.
Yeah, I also like that plasma pistol when you get a parry and you shoot him in the face with your gun strike, it hits everything in the area. It's very strong. I like it. Heavy's got some absolute broken perks. I mean, giving the team more ammo, making it to where when his iron halo's up, he gets everyone more range damage. When his iron halo's down, he does more range damage. When his gun's overheated, it does more
And I
damage.
Let's
and
talk
we
about
also didn't
we didn't
and
talk
we
about
also
Halo though.
No, we didn't.
actually
We don't even really need to discuss most of the other classes like things.
yeah, we also didn't talk about how like the heavy when his armor gets drippy.
Oh yeah,
He looks good.
Heavy is drip or drown, and he ain't drowning.
And just to go back, like one of the best looking classes of the game is actually the assault.
Yes,
He looks on point,
amazing.
amazing. If
He
his
does. Without a
gameplay was
doubt.
as good as his drip, best class.
He'd be like super S plus tier. He'd never. It's ridiculous.
Smoking sexy style.
Smoking.
Yeah, like I know, and the cool thing is, it's not all the classes follow the same like dress trend. Like
They
so,
all
for
are dressed
example,
differently.
the Vanguard, he's wearing very ornate armor, but it's not super stylized. He literally just has the best armor he can wear, and then he just has grenades and knives and other relics just strapped all over him.
Bullets,
Where
knives, pockets.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like
Then you have the absolute opposite spectrum. You play as tactical. He has just as much ornate armor as assault. He looks like he's supporting the fucking Astartes Codex to a fucking T with the way he's looking, dude.
Then there's Assault.
assault with like he has like Death Eagles and stuff coming off his jetpack, and like
Mm-hmm.
his
A
his
lot
his
of-
Thunderhammer is ornate and like gold, and
He
Yeah.
looks very good. A lot of ribbons and medals, and it just
and the
falls
sniper,
short
he
with
gets a
his
cape.
gameplay. He gets a cape. Yep, he's
That's
drippy.
that's all you gotta say. He's got a cape. Fuck you.
You can't
cape.
customize the color of the
Bulwark.
cape, sadly, but
Cape.
cape.
Bulwark gets a monk robe.
Yeah, he's got a. Well, I can't
He's got
remember the
that
name of it.
He's got that monastic secretive robe.
Yeah, it's great. I like the drip. I will say though, with Heavy, his weakest point, which depending on the gun doesn't matter, is his melee. It
Yeah,
sucks.
But I think it's different from
Should-
sniper. Where sniper, it's like, okay, if you get into melee, you're screwed. If you're heavy, you don't feel as screwed as heavy in melee, even though you don't have a melee weapon.
You have the stomp. You have his stomp, which is very
you
strong.
swing. You know what I'm saying? You swing your heavy weapon and you have your stomp.
It's very good.
But it almost like no. But what I'm trying to say is like with the sniper, it almost feels like you fall into a trap. You're like, oh, I'm in melee now. Now I got to stay here because I have a melee weapon. With
Yeah.
heavy, it's like,
It
okay, I
tricks
got to
you.
get out of here.
The game tricks you with thinking that because you have the knife, you're fine. You're not fine. Get out of melee now.
That's
With
the reason why you
heavy-
have the chameleon. That's the reason why you have the chameleon cloak on sniper.
Yeah, even then, you don't want to waste that depending on what level you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're level
Because
25,
that's
you
your-
don't want to waste that cloak.
That's your only way out.
Sucks wasting that cloak because you're going to do a lot more damage. Anyway, we're not talking about sniper. We're talking about heavy. Heavy doesn't have the trick that
Heavy
sniper
weapons
has,
guy.
where you just don't want to be in melee. If you have the multi melta, you're fine. You're most likely never going to be in melee because it's dead, or it's staggered, so you can shoot it again. But if you're using the plasma incinerator or you're using the bolter, you don't want to be in
Heavy.
melee.
I am heavy weapons guy.
And I think that's all for the classes. Everyone is
Yes.
pretty much either A or S tier, except Assault as a TLDR.
Yes.
TLDR, he needs help. That's it.
Now, I mean, you could still play Assault and have fun with him.
Yeah,
It's just
you
you're gonna have
can.
a
It's
really rough
just
time in the higher difficulties.
yeah. If you're gonna play Assault and you want to play him for fun, do difficulty 2 or
Or
difficulty
lower.
1. Don't do difficulty 3 and don't do difficulty 4. Please trust me on this. It sucks.
You're gonna have a
it's
bad
bad.
day, and the
You're
worst
hampering your team by playing him. I'm sorry.
You
I
yeah,
hate
really
to
you
say
are
that.
hampering your team, and like your team is gonna have to play pickup for you because you're not gonna be able to
What you're
compete.
supposed to do, like as the bulwark, you're supposed to wave clear, but you can't do that. If you're trying to assassinate the high level targets, you can't do that. It's
You
bad.
mean Assault? You said
Well,
Bulwark.
well, bulwark is for wave clear,
Oh,
but now we're going to discuss the enemies of operations. We already technically did that with campaign, but they feel a bit different because they realistically are with how much they change. Now we're going to
They
discuss
are.
the Tyranids first.
again, really fun.
They're
Like,
awesome. I love fighting
Still,
Tyranids.
still super fun to fight, but they start hitting more like a truck.
Fucking
Even the little
bus.
ones.
The little ones.
Campaign, the Horde has nail guns. In operations, they have like I don't know,
Meltas.
bio bunkers.
They got meltas in their hands, dude. Throwing
Like
hands.
imagine you're going from just running into an army that just has nothing but knives and forks and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're now in a new setting and they all got machine guns, and you're just like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah, the smallest enemies will take a chunk in
Gun
one
you
hit.
down.
They'll
And
take a
gun you
chunk of
down.
your armor. They're gonna rip your health to shreds. They do a lot.
The hell
But-
did you give a Tyranid warrior a big chopper?
It on the higher difficulties with the Tyranids, it doesn't really matter because you can get executes off pretty commonly because a lot of them are melee. Not many of them, but there are sometimes you get unlucky where there's a lot of ranged guys, but that's not very common. It's a very rare circumstance where that occurs, but when it does, it sucks. I like their executions. They're very fun to see. When you do kill them, they do actually not kill on the higher difficulties, but they do hurt the little guys.
Yeah,
Anyone
if you
that's
kill
a
a
smaller
warrior,
tier to them.
Any
Yeah,
any
as-
warrior, any warrior, any extremist.
it kills like the tier below them, or it extremely damages them.
Yeah,
Depending on
it hurts them a
difficulty.
lot. It staggers them. It hurts them a lot, and you could get executes off that way as well, and daisy chain it.
Easily.
It's very fun to do that as well. Just going from big guy to big guy, just absolutely wrecking their shit.
And that's
In
actually why
other words, focus on them.
Vanguard's one of the most fun ones in my book. That's why I love it, because you kill that big guy, then you just see all the little ones all around you like rub their claws against their head, like I got the biggest headache of my life right now because of you.
Tylenol.
Yeah, they look like you just gave them a big old migraine, just because you killed their boss.
Yeah, it's great. We're gonna discuss the melee enemies now. They feel pretty balanced. There's some bullshit here and there, but that's difficulty.
The
4
little
for
ones,
ya.
like I was saying, the little ones do hit very hard, and considering like most of the classes have 3 armor, and the Vanguard and Sniper only have 2, and a little one just like touching you takes out one of your armors, and your armors take a long time to get back. You do have to be very careful. Like you're going to like if you go into melee, your armor is going to be gone. You like it. There is no oh yeah, I'll just keep my armor up. You're gonna be fighting on health basically.
Yeah,
In melee.
you're kind of crazy to think my armor is always gonna stay full or 1 bar.
Now it might stay 1 bar because you're gonna be working in there. You're gonna get those executes, but it's never gonna be full in melee combat.
Yeah, if you're in melee, it's not gonna happen. It's just not.
Even if you play like the best dodge parry whatnot game of your life, you're gonna
gonna get
full
hit.
armor.
The little guys you can't perfect dodge and get an execute off of. It's not gonna happen.
With how fast armor disappears in the higher difficulties, that's actually probably one of my major problems with operations.
I agree.
It's how fast armor disappears.
That does affect my score quite a lot, is because you got these guys that are like the size of your fucking foot, man, and they just give you a love tap on the ass cheek and your whole armor,
armor's
one
gone.
one chunk of armor, just one guy hitting you, your chunk is gone. Now Sniper, like Noah said, Sniper and Vanguard have 2, so just
So
2
two-
little guys hitting
Two
you.
ass claps and it's gone.
It's all gone. And now you got to think, it's more than just two little guys. You've got like 50 of those little guys. You've got like,
Probably like 6 or 7 of the bigger guys.
depending on how unlucky you are, you got several big guys running at you. And to segue into it, the ranged
Shooters.
guys. The ranged guys are annoying.
Yeah, that's another reason you're never gonna have armor in melee combat. Just because you're in melee combat does not mean that the people that are shooting are just gonna stop shooting at you. They're still gonna be like gunning you down.
There's only one nid that is ranged that I actually like, and that's the sniper. If you
Because he
didn't
can
dodge
shoot
it,
his own people.
that was your fault.
And he can shoot his own people, which
He can
is
hurt
kinda
his own
nice.
teammates. It's pretty funny when that happens, especially
Because
when
yeah.
when they kill when
See-
you parry him and you shoot him in the face and the sniper hits him. That shit's hilarious. That's peak.
There's like what 3 different warriors with like 3 different ranged options. One's got basically a shotgun that fires thrice.
That is the worst one in my book.
One puts
sucks.
down mines that slows you down, does a little bit of damage, and if you stay in it long enough, it will obscure your vision for like
It sucks. I hate that
15
one
seconds.
the most.
Technically, I think all the Tyranid weapons can obscure your vision. It's just that
All the guns.
one that all the guns.
bar-
Sorry, all the guns. All the guns can obscure your vision, but the barb one is the one that does not enough damage to actually notice. Okay, this thing's actually killing me versus this thing's causing me to have a debuff.
You would actually
Mhm.
be surprised how much damage that does because it's small little ticks, but you're not noticing it because you're barely standing in it. Most of the time, you're barely in it, but you're still taking the full brunt of the damage and the debuff. Most of the time, I only realize I'm in it because I got debuffed. I don't know about you
the
two.
debuff sucks. The debuff sucks. I realize I'm in it because I am always paying attention to my armor and health just because
Yeah.
I have to, since I'm in the melee. And also, it is kind of nice because most of the time you don't see them shooting those barbs into the melee. They do try to take out the guys in the back line with those, or at least
Yes.
close off the paths.
They try to stop your retreat most of the time, but when that
Yeah.
shit does realize they
Oh
can
yeah,
start
when it
shooting
does
at
proc,
you
it
now,
sucks.
it sucks. You can destroy them, but I don't find that argument very reasonable because you have to sit there, stop meleeing, look down at the ground, find the bulb, and shoot it.
That's why I have people like you able to do it.
I just kill the guy shooting it.
I keep meleeing, and I'll be like, Abel,
I
you're
just-
up.
I just shoot the asshole shooting it. I feel like the little gunners, the termagants, are fine.
Oh yeah.
They're not bad unless there's a
until
lot
there's
of them.
100 of them.
Mhm.
If there's like
Until there's 100 of them.
yeah, when there's a bunch of them, you peek around the corner for a second because you went in cover to hide for a second from the range guys, and there's like 100 of them just unloading on you like you're in fucking Boston.
No,
we're
yeah.
thinking about the termagants, right?
Yeah, the
yeah.
termagants. I remember coming around a corner.
It feels like turning around a corner, and all of a sudden you see like an
horde of
M60 loaded with spore rounds.
It's
Oh my God,
ridiculous.
I just today I was coming around the corner in one of the corridors, and there were 16 of them, and they just started lighting my ass up, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can lose because of those guys, but it's
Oh
not
my
very
God, yeah,
common.
It's not common.
It'll happen, but it's not common.
They're
Don't-
meant to annoy you.
Don't be like us. Don't lose to it.
Don't be
lose to
stupid.
them. Be better.
Yes.
Be better than us.
All right.
Don't get beat up by things that can be squished by your foot.
Please, we beg
There-
of you.
Yeah. Then there's the Zoranthrope. Fuck those things. I hate all the flying enemies in the game. They all suck.
If you're a melee class, there's nothing you can do.
You're just
Even
gonna
if,
sit
even
there-
If it's sidearm, there's nothing you can do.
If your pistol's out of ammo, you're just gonna sit there like a fucking clown waiting for your other
Yeah,
two guys
clown
to
with a
do
thumb up
something.
his ass.
Yeah, you can't do anything. There's nothing you can do.
Like even I remember on level 4s, like they spawn in, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. I'm out of sidearm ammo. All right, guys, you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah,
I can't reach them.
I will say they have one of the funnier and best executes in
Honestly.
the game, where you rip off their face. It's what some people call better than sex, or the scientific term is fucking.
That's what I said.
It's great.
It's satisfying.
It's
It is.
fun.
It is a satisfying.
Oh, I
execution.
cannot tell you how many times since I play a melee class, I see those guys like come down to the ground after shooting me for a while, and I was like, come here. And
Yeah,
I just,
I hate those things so much. They're
oh my God.
too tanky for what they're supposed to be. Now, speaking of tanky, we're going to talk about the bosses. I like the
we can't
Carnifex
we
fight.
can't forget the. I was gonna say, don't forget about Carnifex. Fucking love it.
Carnifex is fun, but the problem is he feels a little buggy. And I'm not
Oh,
talking as
Carnifex.
a pun.
Oh, okay. I'm stupid.
When they do their dash, where it flashes red, and they're like, okay, get out of the way. It doesn't hit you like you roll
It's
past it, and you'll get the perfect dodge reward, but you'll still get hit in the face. It's very strange. I'm not sure. It is a game thing. It might be just the enemy.
It might be a latency thing or a ping thing.
Maybe.
To me, it sounds like a latency thing because I usually don't have a problem dodging the Carnifex's dashes. It's always been that. It's always been really easy for me.
It's
Usually
been
when I get caught by it,
as well.
Excuse me. For me, it's always been an issue of I waited too late, or I dodged too early.
It's very strange. I don't know how to explain it. It's just something you need to look out for. If you watch other people play it, you might see it. If you play it, you might see it. I might even have a clip that I can show where that occurs. But the execute's fun on it. I wish there were more for all the boss enemies where you do something with your melee weapon. But it's a pretty serviceable execution. Next boss enemy, the Neurothrope.
Those are the big brothers of the fucking zoanthropes. And let me just say, everything that we said about the neurothropes
Applies
carry
to
over
it
to-
Yeah,
as well.
from the
applies to it.
Zoanthrope to the Neurothrope is that times 3.
times 3.
At
And
least
that-
the only saving grace is that
Is
at
a
least
execute.
at some point he will go down to the ground and start doing an AOE shockwave. At
Yes.
least the melee classes can do something about
Can
it.
actually play the game now.
But when we said everything is multiplied by 3, even its execute is multiplied by 3. It is 3 times better than the normal one.
Oh yeah.
Now
It's
I don't
so
want to.
good.
I want. Yeah. You just.
We don't want to
It's
tell
just
you
per-
what it does, but let's just be real here. It's
It-
great.
It's
The best
it's
execute in
amazing.
the game.
I remember when I first saw that, I was like, "This is my favorite execute right here," because this thing is a bitch,
It's
and
such-
it deserves this execute.
It's such a wave of ecstasy of it's
That
dead.
feels good.
Finally.
That
And I can tell you, there has been a bunch of times where someone else did all the work, and I run in there and steal that kill just because I'm pissed off at the thing.
Yeah, fuck that thing. I will say the 2 mini bosses are also very fun. The Lictor and the Ravager. They're
Ravener, not Ravager. Ravager.
Ravener.
Ravener. I'm sorry.
It's all
Well,
good.
we ravish them with the Ravener.
Yeah, we really do. The
Jesus.
Lictor is a very interesting one. When you don't know how to fight it, it's terrifying to fight him. When you do know
When
how to
you
fight
do,
him,
it's
it's very
fun.
fun. Parrying
very
all their
fun.
attacks, perfect dodging all their attacks, even just dodging their attacks. It makes you feel like you're reading their
Shoot him in
mind.
the stupid. And
The
shoot him in the
Lictor's
stupid
meant to be an assassin, so he's going to focus on one person before anything else.
Yeah, he's gonna normally try
No.
to focus out the person that's
face.
separated.
No, but one of the funniest things though is I've noticed if a Lictor hops on you and you just start kicking his ass, he'll run away to someone else.
Yeah, he
He'll
runs
leave.
to
He's
someone
like,
else.
he's
He
like,
fucks
"Oh, okay,
off."
I don't need this smoke no more. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy's fighting back. I'd rather fight someone who I don't know can't fight back.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
it's the same with the Ravener, where he'll try to ambush you. If he fails his ambush, he's gonna go ape shit. He's gonna just swing rapidly and see if you'll fail the parries or the counters or the dodges, and it can be quite funny when you do smoke his shit and he runs away because he knows he can't kill you now. It's
oh
great.
yeah, it's really funny. You can tell that the Tyranids that they put like the AI for it, they're intelligent. They realize they're getting their shit rocked. and
Unlike
they
your
leave.
companion's AI.
Yeah. Yeah, if your companion AI, they see you getting smoked and they grab a soda and a lawn chair and they just keep watching.
Some would say they're quite chaotic, and to segue into it, chaos enemies.
Jesus
But
Christ! Jesus Christ! What am
Now-
I like segues.
This is going to sound very
Escalators?
awkward compared to campaign to operations. I feel like operations, chaos is the weakest part of the game, in my personal opinion. I don't know about Noah and Hugo, but me personally, I do not like chaos fighting them. It
They're
sucks.
tanky.
They're very
Yeah.
tanky. Their spawns seem a little off. I do have fun fighting them because they are a very unique enemy.
Yes.
But it's not something that you can just like go back to back, like just keep fighting mission after mission. You gotta pepper them in. You gotta be like, all right, do a Tyranid mission here, maybe 3, and then do 1 chaos to go back to
I mean,
3
I'm in
Tyranids.
the mood to deal with the horde. Well, now I'm in the mood to deal with some armor. Let me go back to the horde. Let me go deal with some armor again.
Well, the thing
The-
is, Chaos does have the horde with their melee boys.
But they're just so much better.
The
Or
Gores.
like they're so much tankier,
The Gores
Zan
fucking
Gores.
suck.
especially if they have a shield.
They do too much damage. You think the little Nids do too much damage? These guys are coming in to fuck.
Zangors constantly punch above their weight, and especially in higher difficulties.
They easily punch above their own weight.
Oh
They're
my
gonna-
god, yeah, they kick our ass.
Even with a shield, and you're using bolt weapons against them, they're blocking the hits.
they could
they know what
block
they're
the
doing.
last fusel.
They can block the Melta. The multi
block the
Melta.
Melta?
They can block the multi
Oh,
Melta too.
Jesus.
They can
I
block
haven't-
everything. They do a
That is
lot of
stupid.
damage. They're tanky. They take a lot of hits.
And
Normally
they attack a lot.
They are very fast swinging. They're very bloodthirsty, I guess is the way to put it. They're
I was
coming in
about,
for
I was
the
about
kill.
to say something like that. Like for scheming bastards, the Zangors really do fight like they're bloodletters. They will
I feel like
not relent.
bloodthirsters. It's crazy.
They like yeah,
They-
they smell
they
blood
go
in the water
crazy.
and they just swarm on your ass.
It feels like they do try to pick the weakest link in the melee combat. Like if they see a sniper, it feels like they just all in on that fucking sniper. When I was playing sniper, those things were a nightmare.
Ew.
It sucked. When they have that shield, man, they'll block the last fusel, like we said, everything. They're blocking that shit.
The chaos,
You're
the chaos
just
space
not
marines
killing
are
the
no
guys
slouch either.
with guns.
The
yeah.
chaos space marines are no slouch either.
Yeah.
Like
I-
their
Oh, God,
armor,
no.
their armor is insane.
Yeah.
Like it.
It's crazy.
Unless you're hitting them with like Melta or like really powerful hits to like their skull.
Even the
they're-
Melta, they're tanking that shit. They don't care.
Yeah,
They tank it more than the Nids do. But I will say before we go into the range guys, the Serpents of Zinch, you know, those little Pac-Man looking guys.
Pac-Man.
They're very funny looking. I like those guys compared to the Zinch.
Oh, yeah,
not Zinch. I'm
best
sorry.
one-
Compared to the Tyranid counterpart, they feel balanced. The Zinch
Pac-Man.
ones balanced. The Nids ones I hate.
with a passion, you hate.
Oh yeah, I hate them.
I don't mind them, but you hate them with a passion.
I
know
don't.
that.
I've never minded them. I mean, you shoot them and they explode. That's it.
Well, the thing is that they're too fast, in my opinion. For something like
That's
they
fair.
do a lot of damage. If you get hit by it, they do a lot. Granted, they're not very
the sa-
common. When you get
the same
hit
goes
by
for
it,
the
man, you
serpents.
feel it. I haven't
The
been
same
hit
goes for
by
the
a
serpents as
serpent.
well.
I have not been
I've-
touched by the serpents.
I've been unlucky as a bulwark to get hit by them because I'm getting distracted by like Zangors and Chaos Space Marines. They hurt. I promise you they hurt.
I
Maybe
could
you just
only
need to be
imagine.
more
They
like
don't-
me and Abel, Hugo. Just have that peripheral vision.
Guess I just have to play better. I don't know. I'm just really.
Do
Just
really
better,
play better.
Fivehead. Anyways, the ranged enemies. The guard, it's fun to play it.
They're okay. Yeah, they're
The
fun
guard
to fight
are
against.
so fun to
Tra-
fight
Trader-
against.
Trader Guardsmen.
Yes.
Trader guardsmen.
So fun.
Because they're so
Don't-
small and we're space marines, you can literally walk into them and they just explode in a blood explosion.
Don't underestimate them though, because if you leave
Oh,
them
yeah.
alone, a few of them have long last rifles.
Every
and they
now
will
and
blow
then
chunk-
right
again.
through your
They will
armor.
chunk you.
Oh, they'll do more than just blow through your armor. They'll do health damage too. I had a moment to where I did not see a long last sniper. I had full armor. He hit me and took all my armor and took 10-ish% of my health. Most characters can't even do that with their strongest hit. They can do that no problem.
Gotta love the long last, baby.
These guys are
Big hitter.
these guys are not to be trifled with. They will humble you.
What a great way to keep them relevant, just by giving them a sniper rifle. They're the most fragile enemy in the game, but to keep them relevant, they gave them a weapon that
Hey,
just
man.
does buku
It's the s-
damage.
It's the same with the Imperial Guard that we fight with in the campaign. How are they fighting the Tyranids? They just give them big fuck off guns and
Yeah,
say, "Go wild."
Yeah, to put in perspective of how weak these guys are, the guardsmen, you can walk
in.
into them and kill them.
I remember I was fighting in melee against Zangors and Chaos Space Marines, and I dodged to the left, and Abel just started laughing because I took out a whole squad of Imperial Guard without not Imperial Chaos Guard without even realizing it.
Yeah, he killed like 7 or 8 guys with just a dash and a roll. That's all you. Nothing. No bullet fired at him. No fucking swing from your super
Just a
duper
squish.
pooper scooper sword. Just squish.
Squish, and now I have red armor.
Now you're covered in blood.
Yeah.
They're comical to fight. They really are. It's funny to fight them until they fight back.
Blow off your head. I know these two guys like go out of their way just to walk into them.
Oh man, I roll into them.
It's so fun. No, it's so fun to just walk into them.
I love rolling into them. It's so fun. It's easily the best part of Chaos is the guard.
No, Pac-Man.
In Pac-Man, it's fun. It's fun to watch Pac-Man waka towards you.
waka, and it's slow. It is
really
slow.
It is painfully
It
slow.
is comically slow.
Oh,
it is
and
so funny.
And Pac-Man can come from the Imperial Guard.
Oh yeah.
So.
If there's like 1 or 2 like Imperial Guard by themselves, they'll eventually just start like writhing in pain and then just pop and just summon a Pac-Man.
Then boom, Pac-Man. All right, so
let's talk about
the CSM, the Chaos Space Marines, the Thousand Sun.
So there are 2 types of rubric Marines, which are the Chaos Space Marines we fight.
Yep.
One of them is using a bolter-esque weapon, and the other one's just using a flamethrower.
Which sucks that we don't get them.
I hate both of them equally, but the flamethrower is the one that's more memorable to me, just because it's like you don't even have armor around them. They instantly do health damage no matter what you do.
If you get hit by one of their attacks, you just have health now. Simple as you got no armor. Armor doesn't exist with these guys. They don't care.
To be fair, you're a Space Marine fighting other Space Marines. So if they're not giving you punches straight back, are they truly Space Marines?
No.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. This is what makes it really annoying, and you'll be able to relate to this, Hugo, as another melee class player. They just teleport away.
Yeah, I know.
Those fucks. So they have guns, right?
I can thankfully predict when they'll do it. Problem is, you'll never predict where they're gonna go.
Even
like,
it doesn't matter if
the only thing that matters though is that they're going away.
I've had them teleport in, kick me, and then teleport away, and I chase after them.
I just slobber. That's so funny to me. I can imagine just a Rubric Marine teleport.
Because that's like one of the few melee attacks they can do is where they just kick you in like the shin and then run off. And it pisses me off.
And it does a good amount of damage too. That kick can fuck you up.
They're slow. Those attacks are slow. Like
Yeah.
they'll either just give you like the big boot or they'll try to hit you with the butt of their rifle. And thankfully you can parry those. But they do have an unparryable attack where they try to stomp on the ground.
Yeah. It's very annoying to fight them just with the teleport alone. We're not even gonna without even discussing the amount of health they have, the amount of damage they can do. They don't fucking stagger. Good luck staggering them.
Good luck.
You can just dump rounds into them and they'll just sit there and just shrug it off like,
Tee-hee.
Tee-hee. They don't care.
They really don't.
With the amount that they spawn in too. Like, I don't care if they're tanky, if they spawn in like 2 or 3. But I mean, at one point, I think they spawned in 30 of them bitches.
I remember that.
Ready to go.
God, yeah, I do remember a specific mission where it was just a horde of Zangors.
We lost that mission.
7 or 8 chaos, like 7 or 8 rubrics. It was insane.
And they just kept spawning, and kept spawning, and kept spawning. They would not stop spawning Chaos Space Marines. At that point, I was like, dude, I just want more Gores.
Yeah, we were sitting there like, fuck it, we'll take Gores at this point, man. Stop spawning these assholes. Because we can't kill them all.
You just can't.
Because it's like,
they
okay, a squad
away.
of 3... It's like a squad of 3 Space Marines versus like 50 Chaos Space Marines. I wonder whose odds it's in, who's in order.
Yeah, the annoying thing too is that they can teleport right when you get them and execute. Like if you shot them right when they teleport, they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gonna they're gonna heal, and now you got to redo the process. But
at least they have less health when that happens.
Yeah, but anyways, we've talked about CSM and all that a little too much. So let's go into the bosses that Chaos has.
Honestly, really cool. They have two really cool bosses. One of them being the Hellbrute Chaos Dreadnought, who
Looks so fucking good.
so
I love the
good.
way he looks. I love the way he fights. I
He's
love
so
everything
angy.
about him.
He's so
he is
angy.
he is the best. He is the best boss in the fucking game. He has so much personality. The guy, literally, the pilot of that dreadnought is screaming at you because
Oh.
because he's in pain and he wants to make sure you're feeling it too.
He
He wants you dead.
sure
He has
does
a
like
fucking
giving
hammer.
it back
he will
too.
swing to make sure you feel that. He
He's
is
got a big ol'
amazing.
hammer.
I care not about any opinion about it. He's amazing.
He's awesome. I love the Hellbrute. He's great. It's just whenever you're in a tight corridor, it sucks fighting him. It's a headbutting contest now. Who can fucking just slam whose head into who's the furthest? It sucks when you're in that kind of situation. Because his attacks are massive.
Huge.
Massive AoEs. Now, there's no problem with that if you're in a wide open area, you know, it doesn't matter. But the moment you're in a hallway, good
You're
fucking
fucked.
luck. You might just lose just because of that. Because he's
The
going to
Hellbrute-
chase you to the ends of the earth. He's
Hellbrute's
fast.
Oh, he
meant
can
to be
tell.
fu-
Oh, and here's the thing.
Hellbrute's
He can
meant to be
teleport
fought.
too.
I forgot about that. He can.
can.
It's so,
He can
it's so
teleport
jarring
too.
to see it, but
It-
god damn, is it scary when he does.
It's
He
funny
only does
too.
it when you're really far away. He won't teleport away from you, but he will teleport to you if you're far away enough.
Yeah, even if you're the sniper, as an example, because this happened to me, where I'm just going to town, shooting him in the back, and then he just teleports in front of me and go, "Oh, hi, how you doing?"
With a big hammer whack.
Yeah,
And if he
he's
does- and
already
if he doesn't
swinging.
want to, and if he doesn't want to teleport to you, he's just gonna charge. He's just gonna charge his fuck off plasma weapon and
Yeah.
shoot it at you.
He's gonna shoot his plasma rifle at you. Can you even call that a plasma rifle anymore? It's a
It is a- It's plasma.
it's sized
Yeah,
to
it's
him. It's a
plasma.
plasma rifle size to him. Well, it counts.
heavy plasma weapon.
But
Heavy pain train.
His execution, I don't care what any of you say. I think it's one of the coolest ones there.
I,
Oh,
I
it's
like
really cool.
I like
But
his
it's not better
execution.
than Neurothrope.
It's not the best though.
It's not. No, that goes to the Neurothrope.
Yeah.
Absolutely goes to the
It
Neurothrope.
goes to him,
But
man.
the Hellbrute one is so good.
Very good. It's the best for the chaos.
It's yes.
The Hellbrute does pick up on the Japanese. Like, he does talk a lot. I like that. I like the bosses that
Absolutely,
talk.
I like that.
I like it when they talk shit. Even when you're executing him, he's talking hella shit.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, literally to the end. He is like, you will not defeat me, or he's just yelling at you because he's angry.
He's just speaking fucking tongues at that point when you're killing him. He's just saying whatever it is to say. He sounded like Stink Meaner in
Until
Boondocks.
you rip off his head.
But, let's go to the Terminators.
Okay, so there's
you wanna start with
two
the-
Terminators.
You
We're
want to
gonna
start
talk
with the
about
range one or the melee?
We're going to talk about the ranged one first.
Okay.
Chaos Terminator.
We're gonna
with
go
with
from
the
good-
laser cannon.
Annoying to good again. All right. The ranged Terminator
Yippee.
fucking sucks.
It
Sheesh.
sucks because it fires nothing but goddamn fucking magic missiles. It shoots rockets out of him all the
He's
time.
always
and
shooting
lots of 'em.
rockets. It's in bursts
No.
of 3. He shoots like 20 or so rockets.
And
they
they
track
track
like a motherfucker.
Even if you dodge effectively against the field of rockets it's firing at you,
You're gonna
you'll
hit.
still get
You're
hit
gonna
by.
get hit.
You're
You're
probably
gonna get
still
hit by
gonna get
another
hit.
volley no matter what.
Well, not even
Thank
another
God-
volley, the
thank God-
same volley. Because he staggers it a little bit. Because it's not 20
Thank-
in one go. It's like 5
Thank
in a
God-
short burst and 5
Thank God it
and 4
doesn't-
short
Thank God it
bursts.
doesn't stagger you. Thank God it does not stagger you. That's probably the saving grace about that field, that it doesn't stagger you out of anything.
I've had times to where
It can
I was
stagger you.
It can. If
I've-
you get
I've
hit by
never-
enough
I've
of
never
them, you
noticed it.
can. But I've had times where I was behind cover. Just straight up behind cover, perfect. A beam, a support beam, and that shit still hit me. It went around the cover
Yeah.
and hit me. It's crazy how much they track. And even if he decides not to use the fucking missiles, he's got a minigun that does a lot of damage. If you get caught
No ma-
out by that gun, you
You're
better
dead.
just take your hands off the controller,
Yeah.
take your hands off the keyboard. You're
You
down.
put him on your.
It's over.
Even if you have Iron Halo from Heavy, you're taking those hits.
You're getting
Yeah,
hit.
it's gonna kill your. It's gonna kill your Halo instantly, pretty much.
No
No matter what difficulty, he has a lot of health. He
He's
is
tanky.
crazy.
He's a Terminator.
He is a Terminator. I'm not complaining that he's tanky, but he is fucking tanky. He doesn't stagger. Everything we said about the Rubric
Extra
Marines,
thick.
double it. He's doing more damage. He's taking more damage. He's taking more damage. He's dealing more damage.
And he teleports still.
He can teleport too. They
all fucking teleport.
Yeah,
they all sucks when
not that he needs to.
He doesn't need to. He can just sit there on his big happy ass. He can pull up a lawn chair, swirl it out, sit down.
He takes his lawn chair and soup, and he goes, boop. All right, I'm gonna go up there where you can't reach me. I'm just gonna shoot down on you. Have fun.
Yeah, those guys are annoying. I hate the ranged guys, but the melee guys, the melee Terminators, they're fun.
They're kind of fun.
They're
kind of fun.
They are deceptively fast.
They're deceptively fast.
The melee Terminators.
I actually like fighting him. He's fun to fight.
Their melee combat is so good, they even put an achievement for it.
They will blitz you. You could be sitting there pretty far away. They spawn in, man, and he is running for you.
What's that ass?
He hauls ass. He took the concrete out of his shoes, man. He's ready to go. He's ready to go in, just fucking grab you and just throw your ass around.
He's made of dust, and he's ready to turn you into dust too.
He's ready to fuck you up.
I'll tell you what though. That Kopesh they're using, pretty fucking cool. I want it.
Yeah, the power sword they have, it's awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Pretty trippy, honestly.
Yeah, actually.
Like, unironically.
Like
as a weapon or the power sword?
The power sword. Well, actually, no. I like the power sword, but I just don't like Kopesh's in general.
That's a fair thing. Not many people will. It just depends on the person,
honestly think
really.
the whole Egyptian, Kopesh sword thing is overused.
They really are nowadays, unfortunately.
What? Yeah.
That's fine. Anyways, operations missions.
That's a Necron play.
Operations missions. We're not gonna go too deep into them.
Wait. We forgot about the sorcerer.
Did we?
Fuck him.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorcerers. I thought we did talk about him as a range.
No, we never did.
Oops. All right then, the Chaos Sorcerer. They're fun. I like them.
I like them a lot.
They speak a lot of Japanese.
They love to talk shit.
I hope so. He's part of Tzeentch. We said that before. Everyone who worships Tzeentch is speaks Japanese.
And he's also one of the few ones that are not made of dust.
So he can actually talk because of that.
And it also means we get to shove his fucking spear right up his ass.
It's so funny when
another unit that actually does fight back. He actually does fight back in his execution. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he does. He only has one execute though, but
pretty good
not bad. Like I said before, I wish there were more executes, but it's fine. It's fine. I kind of do wish they'd add more. They probably won't, but it's whatever.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, that's for future discussion, though.
Yeah, it is what it is. But
it is what it is.
I'd say that the sorcerer is pretty balanced overall. His attacks are fun. He's fun to fight. It's fun to kill him. He talks a lot of shit. That's what I like out of my enemies. The ones that talk shit, but they can't back it up. Or when they do back it up, they have their reason to talk shit. But let's discuss the missions now. We're not going to go too deep into it. We're just going to discuss how we like them or how we dislike them. Spoiler alert, we don't dislike them.
We don't dislike them, and we can't go too deep because they're intertwined with the campaign.
Yes.
Kind of.
So
we
don't want to spoil you. We don't want to spoil the story for you and the reveals that occur. We're not going to discuss the operations missions because that shit would take too long, even in the other half. And
yeah, fair enough.
It's a lot of the stuff that does happen is fun to see on the first time. But overall, for the Tyranid missions, very fun. Their objectives are very fun. Their story tie-in is great. And I honestly feel that there's not enough missions and operations for the Nids and Chaos. But it's unfortunately just the way it is. The story is relatively short, and so is operations.
But what we have is amazingly done.
Yeah, it's pretty well done.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think? You like the Tyranid missions? Yes, no, maybe so.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
They're amazing.
They're so fun.
They're great. The objectives of the missions are
I get
great.
to fight this horde. I get to fight this horde again, doing a different objective. Sign me the fuck up. I will absolutely fight Tyranids every day of the week.
Yeah,
They're
because
fun to
most
fight.
of most of the missions that you do for the operations are done concurrently, like with what you're doing in the campaign. So while you're doing this operation, somewhere out there, you're doing the campaign technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all going at the same time, lore-wise and retrospective-wise. Like Titus, Gad, and Charon are
doing something when
doing
you're
something,
doing something.
important, and your team is out doing something important as well. Now the Chaos
because
missions,
it'll inadvertently affect what's happening in campaign.
yeah, without the squad that's doing the other stuff, the main squad would have failed several times
Miserably.
over.
Mm-hmm.
But now Chaos missions. Now, I did say I hated fighting Chaos, but the Chaos missions are also very fun to play. Their objectives are very cool. They're very unique in their own way compared to the Tyranids. And the only bad part about the Chaos missions is you have to fight Chaos. That's it. Chaos sucks to fight.
Yeah, they're good stories.
They're pretty long, actually. I think the Chaos missions are longer than
I've always felt like all the operations are pretty long. I think that's just an opinion I have. But I've always felt like all the operations missions felt like they last quite a while.
They do.
Like,
the Chaos missions, though, are on another level of length.
Yeah, I think my guess on how long the missions take is like probably 30 to 40 minutes. If 40 minutes for really taking your time. With Chaos, it's like probably consistent 40 minutes.
Easily 40 minutes each,
Yeah,
because you got a lot of elevator rides on those missions.
And you also got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, instead of fighting a horde, you're fighting like an organized force.
Yeah.
With armor.
Yep.
They will try to flank you. They're going to do a lot to be a pain in your ass.
Compared to Tyranids who'll just either stand there and fire you with their weird biogun or just run at you.
Yep. And now the multiplayer, the PvP. This is going to be a short section, and I'll let these two discuss it first.
So
the multiplayer.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
My opinion on the multiplayer, I like it. It's fun. It's okay. It's very different. It's very different than fighting in the operations and campaign, because you're having to not, instead of thinking about how like an enemy will fight because you expect them to fight a certain way, you're now having to change your mindset on what an enemy will do, like what a player enemy will do instead. So there are a lot of corners. The maps are like normal maps you would see in like maybe even in a Call of Duty game, but
yeah,
you're having to constantly change your mindset in how a multiplayer game will go. There are powerful classes in it.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think the two that stand out are Bulwark and Heavy. Bulwark because he gets a shield. If you don't get up close to him, he's blocking every shot you ever fire at him.
Yeah, every bullet, even Melta, he's blocking it. He doesn't care. It's
only way you're getting past that shield is if you get up close and heavy the shield out of the way.
You guard break
or you have a grenade
with a melee. Even strangely, the crack grenade does not break his guard,
which it should.
It should. It should open him up. It does not. From what I understand, it has not. When I played as him and someone threw a crack at me, it didn't open me up. I was still blocking shots. It might have been a bug, but I'm not sure.
I would assume that's a bug. Also, let's talk about Heavy then. Heavy with the Iron Halo in operations is much different than Heavy with Iron Halo in multiplayer.
Very different.
If he's playing, he's better on objective-based game modes because he can sit there and just tank the hits because he's allowed to sit there. He's meant to sit there.
The thing is, as well, is his shield goes down pretty quick.
It does.
So,
but it stays up long enough for him to kill someone if they're standing there.
Yeah. The thing is, with Heavy, you want to trick him to use the Halo and waste it, and then go back and waste him. But I think the problem now is that people, because the PvP is new, people aren't understanding what to do. Same with the Bulwark. I feel like the Bulwark is very, very strong. But the moment people realize what they're supposed to do, it'll change. I think in the coming months, I think Vanguard will be one of the best classes for PvP.
I think both Vanguard and Assault will actually shine in PvP because
that mobility.
Thunderhammer is actually surprisingly effective.
And that
In
mobility
melee.
is just wild if
Yeah,
you can get it.
If you can get your flanks off, you can get your surprise attacks, your sneak attacks off. It's great. I feel now Bulwark and Heavy will be a thing that people will have their ire on, but the real threats are going to be Assault and Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to ruin your day. They're going to make your life a living hell if they're playing right. And unfortunately,
they can just stun you easily.
Yeah, they can get their stuns off. They can do a lot of damage with their melee too. Shockingly, especially Assault. When he dashes at you and he light attacks you, that shit does so much damage. I feel like the PvP needs to be adjusted more. They need to be aggressive about nerfs and buffs. They need to be very coordinated about that. And unfortunately, this does go into my score of it because I dealt with a few of these cocksuckers as hackers. They are very prominent. They will do some crazy shit that you could not believe. Aimbots up the ass, walls, just crazy things. It's unbelievable. I've even heard horror tales from people on Twitter, Instagram, where these guys can shoot you once and kill you with anything. Just insta kills. It's weird. It's unfortunate. Wild. Easy anti-cheat is not working. Companies need to stop using it. And because of that, honestly, the PvP just wasn't fun for me. Just running into people that are cheating. I'm just there for the achievements. I've been a fan of single player games for a while now after being a hardcore guy for playing video games like Siege and that shit. I lost it. It's not for me anymore. What do y'all think?
About the multiplayer?
Yep.
I'm also the same. I've never been much for the PvP. I think it has a lot of potential. That's why in my rating I didn't absolutely just take it out back and shoot it. But it right now in the state it is, as long as you don't get cheaters, which I didn't catch too many. I only got probably 1 or 2 out of 30 plus games. But it was fun when there obviously weren't there, but one of the biggest things that was an issue in multiplayer is people are not playing objective. If you don't have a team, you're not winning. There's no way in hell you're going to win, no matter what class you play.
The strongest thing about objective based game modes is that if you're moving as a team with coordination and if you even can communication, you're most likely going to win over the other team.
Oh, yeah, you're going to smoke them.
You can cover each other's backs. You can use your abilities more effectively. I can see this game mode doing wonders if it's done right. But so far it is the weakest part of the game, and I don't see the company. I believe it's Saber Interactive. I don't see Saber Interactive putting a lot of focus on it. Instead, I think they're going to put their focus more into campaign operations, all that, more operations if anything.
Yeah, I fear in the multiplayer will be a forgotten thing in the past. Maybe a couple paint schemes here and there for both Chaos and Loyalists.
It has a niche, and I think it does the niche well.
It does have its niche.
It's also kind of sad that if the multiplayer does go down like that, because it was such a big thing in the first game. I never played it, but I remember seeing the lobbies, the YouTube, all that's all those streaming platforms, people playing it, and cool stuff like people turning into dreadnoughts, and it was awesome.
Not in this one. It's not. None of that is in here.
No dreadnought turning yet. Hopefully, that's the hoper. That's the hope right there.
It's a little bit of hopium. It is. It's unfortunate
what's wrong
that
with a little hopium?
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of hope, but unfortunately, a lot of those things did go into my multiplayer review. I know mine is way more dramatic because I was not having fun. I still have to go in. I was having times where I was getting disconnected in matches. Trying to get into matches was chaotic. I couldn't find matches. I was spending 20-30 minutes trying to find it. I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's a game problem, not a me problem, because I'm still connected to
It's
Discord.
it's a game problem
It's
because like if you want to leave a lobby, you can't join a new lobby. It literally will force you offline, and you have to exit your game and go right back in.
yeah, that's one of the reasons why my score is so low. I don't want to dislike the multiplayer. I want to like it. I just can't like it. It's too many problems, unfortunately. It's an issue. They need to fix it. Will they fix it? I don't know. I hope they do. I want people to enjoy the game, but I'm being honest with the way I feel. I don't want to sugarcoat things. Nothing. It's an unfortunate circumstance with the multiplayer. Anything else y'all want to add?
No, I think that's it.
No, I
think we
pretty much
covered it
said,
well.
I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover.
Yeah, it's like pretty much most of the things I'm gonna say is what they said, which they layered it on the way I would normally. It's my issues are more nuanced. It's stupid. I like to complain about things in a way that I want it to be better.
Constructive.
I'm not doing it to just complain. I'm doing it because I want it to be better. I don't want it to be shit. I want it to be good. But with the way it is right now, it's just kind of trash. You really get punished for trying to play the multiplayer, because if you get as unlucky as I did, I played about 25 games. Half my lobbies were full of aimbotters. And I don't even know about the other half. I know some guys were doing some crazy shit, throwing grenades at me when I didn't even see anybody yet. I'm not Auspex scanned. I'm not any of that. They're throwing grenades right where I'm standing. It was ridiculous. It was sad. I didn't care if I win or lost. If I was winning, it was like, okay, whatever. I can just go on to the next game. If I was losing, like, whatever. I'm just going to go on to the next game, get these couple of achievements I need, and be done with it.
Trust me, it was really sad. I could hear Abel crying across the mic.
It's
Ober's
really
complaining. Damn.
It's really sad to see. I don't want it to be bad, but unfortunately, in my opinion, it is. I can be wrong. My opinion is probably wrong to some people, and it's probably right to others, but it's a sad state of affairs that the game's in with the multiplayer, at least. It's really unfortunate. I know a lot of people...
Everything but the multiplayer feels very complete, very good, despite the bugs.
There's some things here
like
and there that feel incomplete in the operations, and teeny tiny bit with campaign, not too much. Some things here and there, like how did we get here kind of things, but why did this happen? But other than that, I mean, multiplayer is on a whole different Richter scale.
Multiplayer's a thing. You can play it. If it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea.
Yeah, if it's not, it's not. It's not my cup of tea. It's not, from what I understand, it's definitely not Noah's cup of tea as well. Hugo likes it. I know a lot of people who are going to get it and be very disappointed with the way it is, because they talked a lot about Space Marine 1's multiplayer, and man, I feel bad for you guys. It's rough. But that's...
We'll see in the future what they do with it.
But that's how we see it with the multiplayer. Alright, we're going to sit here and drop how we feel about our scores now for the game. I have a pretty controversial one, I feel. And I'll go first. The campaign is a 9 out of 10. Very fun. A lot of interesting things happen in it. Operations, same thing. It can be fun. The reason why I give it a 7 out of 10 is the bugs that can occur with the melee enemies, where they can feint, it feels like. They sit there and go to swing at you, and then they stop doing it to do one that's going to be even worse, does more damage than it normally does. Assault just sucks, and if you're trying to play Assault or level up Assault, if you're like me, you want to level up all the classes and see how they feel, it sucks playing as that class. And if there's some classes you don't like, you got to play them if you want to max them out. So 7 out of 10 for that. Multiplayer is a 4 out of 10. Like I said, I got in a lot of hacker lobbies. I got what Hugo said, where you would sit there and try to join a lobby and get kicked out instantly, and try to rejoin and find another lobby, get sent back to the main menu. That happened to me just today, 7 times in a row. I actually had to use Noah and join him, join his lobby, and it fixed it. but it broke again a little while afterwards. After about 5 or 6 games, it instantly booted me out, sent me back to the lobby, logged me out, and I had to do it a couple more times to get it fixed. So 4 out of 10 for that. Unfortunately, for the overall score, I had to go with like a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. All the bugs that were occurring in multiplayer and operations, when I was playing operations, sometimes my CPU was maxing out. I'm not sure why. I have it on the lowest settings. It's weird. My GPU isn't really being used by it. It might be a my end problem. It could be a game end problem. I don't know. It's very awkward. It's strange. It's not like I have a shit rig, to say the least. It's pretty decent rig, but I'm not sure
I think your rig is
why.
actually better than mine.
It probably is. That's not even me trying to fucking brag. It might just be.
No. That's not you bragging. I think your computer setup is better than mine.
And I was having
And-
problems
and I
with
just-
the game.
Yeah, which is weird. Which is weird because like for my setup, I'm like a little over half because the game is demanding. It's obviously going to
Yes,
be demanding, but
it's very
but
demanding.
it never maxed out. I think it maxed. The only time it maxed out was when the game was booting up.
Yeah. Even when I wasn't recording and streaming, it was maxing out. It was going like 95%. It was scary how high it was getting. It was getting
Yeah,
hot
I
in this
felt-
room.
Your PC was about to blow up.
It was getting really hot in my room. I was getting really worried. I even at one point had to say, I'm sorry, guys. I got to stop playing and get this figured out. Because this is dangerous right now. And it took me a little bit. I did some things and it somewhat fixed it. It still gets a little high now. It gets in the rough 60s or 70s every now and then again. But now I did fix it. I shouldn't have to do that. The game should be optimized. So that did go in the score. So that's my reasoning of the 6.5 out of 10. So we're going to go to Noah in his scoring.
I rated a little higher so for the campaign, I gave it a 9.5. Coming from the first game and going into this one, I felt the story like was a perfect follow-up for what we got in the first game. So if you're like a returning fan, this is definitely like the campaign is definitely like it's everything that we dreamed of. And if you're just this is the first time seeing Titus, this is the perfect time to actually see him because it doesn't like you don't feel in the dark when you're like listening to his story or going through the campaign. It informs you of what happened to him as time goes on, and you feel invested in the character. And that's why I gave it a 9.5. For my operations, yes, I had problems with it, but I've always been a little. I guess I could say I'm always been a little lucky. I ran into the glitch where the enemy could switch up their attacks like once throughout all my playtime so far, and still haven't run. I haven't run into it again. Yes, the assault had problems, but I feel they're gonna hopefully fix them, and listen to the community, which they have been seeing that they've been trying to figure out, like, actually listen and not just say, well, that's what it is and that's what you're gonna get. The missions are tailored, like handmade missions. Like it's beautiful to look at the missions and see the hordes. The classes, other than the assault, feel very relevant. They work well with each other. You can really feel the camaraderie between them because they do have a little dialogue between them. And the weapons feel good. It feels fun. And it's just like the operations is a fun time, no matter if you're fighting Tyranids or Chaos. Yes, Chaos is a little bit more annoying, but you still have a love for it when you're fighting them. And multiplayer, I've never been much of a PvP player, even like throughout the years. I mean, I played For Honor, I played COD, played Siege, but it's never been my cup of tea. I've always rather fight AI and like PvE versus PvP. So when I tried the PvP, it was actually I found it was good for PvP, but it didn't hold up to Space Marine 1's PvP. It has its bugs, it has its cheaters. The classes do feel a little bit more balanced. Like the assault isn't as god awful as it is in operations. So in my opinion, I gave it a 7 on the multiplayer just because the assault is fixed, but it does still have its issues that could definitely be fixed. And overall, I gave it an 8.5 for the game. Well, yes, it is very high. but I don't know. I just felt an 8.5 was right. And now we'll continue on to Hugo's score.
My score for campaign was 9. It's really, really good. I enjoyed seeing the whole story unfold with Titus. It is my first experience with him. I have like some glimpses of what he was in Space Marine 1, but not enough to like understand what he was beforehand. He was very fun. He was very cool. Like the story with Gadriel and Chiron was amazing to see. Knowing no and with operations too, knowing that was unfolding in the background was really cool. Just the constant, how do I put this? Everything about it was just amazing. Seeing the setting, seeing the Tyranids run at you for the first mission was amazing. Seeing the Tyranids in the distance for other campaign missions, like just a ravenous horde wanting to eat, and hearing the dialogue between the main characters just like talk about that, or talk about later on the chaos. It's all amazing. The planets you go to are all drastically different, and it's so amazing to see all that just representing the campaign. And and that's why I gave it a 9. Operations too, I gave it a 9 as well. It was fun. Same settings, but different characters. They're not as important as the main characters. They're obviously just like kind of one off, but the banter they have is amazing. They comment on the current situation they're having. Like Noah said, they're hand tailored. They are just specifically made for these characters in mind. Every character has their own dialogue with each other about the mission. It feels great. The problem with the assault is one thing, but with the classes that I played, Operation still felt like a joy every time I wanted to pick it up. The only times I took a break was because I didn't want to get myself burned out doing it, because I still want to enjoy this game. And then I turned to multiplayer. Multiplayer is a 6 out of 10. Um, like Abel said before, I did enjoy multiplayer. Multiplayer was an enjoyable experience for me. It's drastically different. The way you fight your opponent is completely different than the way you would fight a ravenous Tyranid, or just a heretical chaos space marine. And
Well,
instead of
you do fight them in multiplayer, but
True, true, but you're fighting players. Shut your mouth. Is my TED
Heretics are
talk.
heretics. Traitors are traitors. That's why his last name is Heresy.
really, man, Noah, you really are the Horus Heresy.
I am John.
Anyways.
I am John Darktide.
John Warhammer.
The last
yeah,
thing we heard
I
from the Emperor's voice was, "You really are the Warhammer 40K."
Most of my problems with Warhammer multiplayer. You were talking about John Warhammer and it distracted me.
John Darktide.
Most of my problems with multiplayer didn't come from the gameplay itself, but what was happening around it. Lobbies weren't hard to find, but if you wanted to exit a lobby, you had to leave it, and most often than not, you're forced into offline mode because it's something that just occurs with lobby matchmaking. So once you find a lobby, that's your lobby for 25 to 30 minutes until you have to find a new lobby, which means you have to stop playing, close the game, reopen it, and then go find another lobby, which seems like a huge oversight to what is probably the simplest thing in existence that games have known how to do since the dawn of Modern Warfare 2 COD lobbies, for God's sake. So I give the overall score of multiplayer a 6. And that and
Yeah,
that go ahead.
luckily with multiplayer, I never had issues with like having issues getting to lobbies on us. That might just be my luck because I've always just been, I've always had
You've always been a lucky person. I don't know why this was a consistent problem for me. If that didn't happen, my score would be 7 instead of 6, because I'm not there to play the multiplayer. I'm there to play operations in Space Marine 2. But overall my score is an 8. I I do think it's a little high, but I think it's deserved. But that's probably coming from a guy who just likes to be optimistic about the games he plays. I overall like to enjoy the games I play rather than complain about them.
take it for what it is, not what it like what not what like take it for what it is, but not what it could be.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And yeah, that's our scores.
Yeah.
I think that went pretty well.
All right, after the reviews here, we're now going to go into the spoiler part of the section. So if you don't want anything to be spoiled, fuck off. You can close off now. And we will be discussing these spoilers now. So, Charon, when he went
Bravo.
apeshit during his first moment of seeing chaos.
That was in what planet was that again?
That was the Hive World.
That was the Hive World, yeah.
Right. Amazing scene.
I like that.
It suddenly gave him such a huge moment of backstory for him.
Yeah, you felt the pain and the anger, and also you kind of felt a little bit of corn in there. His voice changed.
Yeah, I said
He
the
was so
same
angry.
thing like when we were playing. Is he sounded very Cornish, like he was very angry. You know, you got to keep an eye on this guy now.
What was really cool is that you actually got to play that moment out too when he was separated.
When you
that
play
was
as
really
Charon,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I played as Chiron. I played as Chiron for that moment, and it was very, very enjoyable. Like all of a sudden, I'm separated. My buddies are dealing with like two separate, like a completely separate fight, and I am right there in the middle, having to deal with a horde of Zangors, a bunch of Chaos Space Marines.
Oh
It was
yeah, a
amazing.
lot of them.
I fucking loved it. It felt like a moment straight ripped out of like Doom. It was so good. Like I'm here holding the line, so my buddies can assist me. Like it's amazing. There's not much else to say besides that.
Yeah, even with his inbound knowledge that he had of that actually being chaos, it didn't feel like an ass pull, like just something they made up along the way of, oh shit, we wrote ourselves in the corner. It felt natural that because of his home planet being attacked by, of Calth being attacked by word bearers. Word bearers are fucking bad, dude. They're ruthless. They're evil.
Mm-hmm.
Religious zealots.
Huge bastards. And it did something that most 40k doesn't really do at the Primaris, and it humanizes them. It felt very humanizing for Chiron to be that way. And I liked it. This is a few times where I'll actually say that I liked Primaris. I don't like Primaris really that much, but I liked Chiron.
I think the most accurate representation of a Primaris was actually like
The heavy.
the heavy in operations.
I hate it.
I hate how the heavy is. Normally the heavy machine gun guy, the heavy weapons guy is a talker, man. He loves to talk, but that guy, dude.
One word for it all.
One word responses, all that shit. But this is not about.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good that they actually had him there as like a representation of like your average Primaris.
I feel like the tactical would fit better, honestly. But
the tactical was like a very I wouldn't say no nonsense type of guy, but he was very joyful. Joyful. I wouldn't say no nonsense, but more like by the book.
yeah,
Like he does his job and he does it well, but he does it with he does it like he does it joyously.
But
Like he's happy to do his job.
is there anything else that we feel like we should talk about, Chiron?
If you're gonna play with buddies, make sure you play through Chiron's mission twice, just so so you can be on both sides of it.
Yeah,
Mm,
try to
you
get
can experience
everybody
both.
to experience the role of how Chiron was playing.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, especially if you have a buddy helping you out too. That's what I was doing with Hugo
Oh my
when I was
God,
playing
had to
as Gad. I was helping
I had to
Hugo. I would swap back and forth between shooting the guys on my side and the guys on Hugo's side.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Shut up.
I was
You weren't
covering your
there.
ass like
Shut
crazy. I was
Yes,
there.
he was. He was. What are you talking about?
Anyways,
You were so busy trying to kill all the guys that were in game executed by Hugo. I had to cover for your ass. I was like, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Wait, hold on. Is he gaslighting you?
yes. I will say as well with
Perhaps.
the main characters, Gadriel, he changes a lot in the story, quite a lot. Because at first he was a very stick up the
Stick
ass
in the mud. Yeah.
to Titus. In the moment Titus was willing to open up and explain what happened, Gad did a very rare thing even firstborns do and had some sympathy for him in a way. Like, Jesus Christ, you went through all that because of this fucktard? Like, come
Well,
on.
luckily they never said the name of the fucktard to Gadriel and Charon because they might have actually known who that is.
They might have actually killed the person that caused
That-
that.
I think if they actually explained what if Titus had actually said Leandros's name throughout any point, I think the story would have unfolded like differently.
Would have unfolded way differently if Titus would have said, "Yeah, if I'm here because of Leandros and I'm in this shit situation, I've gotten demoted. I spent 100 years in the Death Watch
Death
as a
Watch.
Blackguard, is it Black Shield, Blackguard,
Black Shield.
Black Shield. Black Shield, and they would have probably killed his ass, killed Leandros right then and there. Like, found a way to separate him and just get him killed.
Off his ass.
Because
What helped is that Titus didn't never ever need to say his name because it naturally never made sense to. It was more like a painful memory he just didn't want to relive.
Yeah, it really was. It was strange. It was strange to see, but it was also nice to see. But
Mm-hmm.
I was actually always surprised that Titus didn't, like, as soon as he got back in the chapter, look for Leandros.
try to get some payback.
Not even payback, just to like see him, talk to him,
Yeah.
Have closure in some sense.
something like that, just even something like that. But no,
Yeah,
straight to business.
I still don't understand how people compare Gad to Leandros. It's not a fair comparison at all, especially at the end of the campaign.
I mean, the way their suspicions were formed there were fine.
Natural,
but
makes sense.
Yeah.
And
But Gadro was at least willing to listen to what Titus had to
I
say.
do like the callback though with Gad, specifically
This is
Gad.
not a codex.
This is not up to
supported by
standard with the Codex Astartes, but I am looking forward to
But
it.
mm-hmm.
I was worried there because even Titus has that like stare of "you
shifty
motherfucker," and the moment he says, "But I'm looking forward to it," like you could feel Titus going, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, thank God.
Well, yeah, because for those of you out there that don't know it, that's the first thing Leandros said to Titus pretty much in the first game. Which is like, this action is not supported by the Codex Astartes. And it's one of the last. It's like one of the last things that Gadriel says right before the final mission.
Yeah, it's a great callback, awesome callback, and it shows how a Space Marine should be. Just because the book says we can't, doesn't mean we shouldn't. We should try it. If it works, it works.
If it doesn't, well, we're not around to see that.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, we're dead anyway. So what are they gonna do? Fire us? But let's get to the big bad of the game. Emra is his name. He
man was a yapper.
he loved to
All
talk.
he did was talk.
Talk. He could not back that shit up at all.
To be fair, as a follower of Zinch, it would be very out of character if he didn't.
Yes, it
Yeah,
would.
but you would expect you expect a guy high up in Zinch's, like, corruption to not suck so bad.
Yes, he was so forgettable. I honestly
his-
forgot he was a thing
his design
for a while.
His design was cool, but like I wish there was more.
Like
out
there
of
was a
him.
lot
I
of
wish he showed-
detail put in.
His coolest part was when we first meet him and he's on a goddamn disc.
Yes.
The disc was more memorable than
but
he
we'll
was.
we'll talk about that more in a little bit here when we go through the more badass moments that occurred in the game. But overall, he's very forgettable. Just, I think the best part of him was his design. He's got some cool parts showing he's actually corrupted by Tzeentch. I'm not just like talking about his face, but his arms are covered in feathers and kind of scaly.
He's got a bird hand, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think one of his hands has like a bird claw looking thing. They did well on the design. They were cooking with his design. He's a yapper, which I like. I love enemies that sit there and talk shit whenever at the end there, when he's trying to get the three main characters to betray each other. It felt right, get one of them to try to leave because they think like, oh man, I can't do this. How am I going to beat this guy? But
He's
overall,
big guy.
yeah, he's a weak last boss. I'm not going to lie. The boss fight was rather weak. That's about it. I mean, without going much into talking about the badass moments. But what do you think, Hugo? Anything you want to add?
Anything to add to Imra? I
Yeah.
mean, I honestly think he would have benefited from like showing up early in the story despite being chaos.
Yeah, I feel like um
Honestly, hearing his voice maybe early on, like you start like hearing someone talking to you would have helped. Like
like
just
as
like that
Titus.
mystery, that mystery.
Like if you're playing as Charon and Gad, you hear Titus talking, and if you're playing as Titus, you hear one of them talking. Whichever, to try and sow animosity
Discontent.
between the two. Or the three, I'm sorry.
Or even instead of having that, just having Titus talk to someone that's not there. Not like he's talking to Chiron and Galadriel, but he's trying to
Like a
talk to the
guardsman
voice.
commander.
What's a good game that does that actually pretty well from what I remember? Dead Space 3 did that really well with Carver.
Yeah.
I like that's a great example of like using dialogue that isn't there to confuse players. I love that. I love that, and I love that in Dead Space 3, and I wish more games would do that.
I wish they did it earlier in the game, maybe even before Chaos even shows up. Like on the mission where you're going to save the object, the artifact.
Yeah, the object. Well, you're there. You're actually going to save the Archmages.
Yeah.
Archmages. And then you realize, wait, this artifact is here.
We're supposed the Archmages sent us to get the artifact, and I feel like that would have been the perfect moment to go. Chaos is coming. But anyways, we're gonna discuss the coolest, most badass moments in the game, and right off the rip, the first fucking the prologue, fighting that fucking Carnifex.
Yeah, that is a badass moment.
That shit was metal.
Yeah.
Because you're like a solo man fighting the Horde, and then just this big dick swinger just comes right out of the
Behemoth
Horde.
just comes crashing out. And that little
And you're
box.
like, I gotta
it
fight
depe-
that.
Yeah. Depending how you did, you were probably fighting at its weight class, or maybe you just immediately got your ass smacked.
Yeah.
Either way, you fought a Tyranid Horde.
Yeah.
And that was really
It
cool.
was a good way to introduce the World War Z mechanics of the Tyranids climbing. It was a good way to introduce a boss enemy that you do get your salty run back on later on.
You do, yes.
And the cutscene that comes right after it, where you're getting reconstructed to be a Primaris Marine, and the dialogue was fucking metal. That shit was hardcore. That made me want to go and kick some ass.
Facts.
Pick on Primaris.
I did say earlier I'm not a fan of Primaris, but this game has not changed my mind. But I did like the Primaris in this game, just with the way they humanized them some.
They portrayed them differently. They portrayed them as firstborns instead of Primaris, which is good.
Yeah, great thing they did there. But next badass moment is the very first major you meet in the game, Major Sarkana, and I think she's the only one you meet, any major you meet, where
Yes.
you
And
get
they
to
named
see
her-
the
she was
size
the only named
size
major.
difference between Space Marines and regular people up close, pretty much in a cutscene.
I did mention that earlier.
Yeah,
it was so jarring, but like so happy to see like a proper size difference between Space Marines and human Imperial Guard.
It's not even funny, the size difference either.
Oh no.
And right after that cutscene, man, you're sitting there and you're watching all these troops getting ready to go, these tanks roaring up and driving off, the APCs, and then the airstrike right afterwards, just annihilating.
I was gonna say, while you're
hold back the line.
Yeah, I was gonna say while you're talking with the major, like in the far distance, you can see Tyranids just running up to like the front line and getting mowed down by lasgun fire.
Lasgun, fucking machine guns, and then when you're sitting there walking while she's talking to you about the operation, you just see a bunch of aircraft come by and just wipe out the fucking field. That shit was awesome.
I'm pretty sure
it was an amazing way to introduce the Tyranids.
I'm pretty sure the aircrafts come after you. You've helped her hold back the line until the aircrafts come.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The aircraft
awesome.
come after you hold the line for a bit.
It's great. That was such an awesome part of the scene. Like that's all in like 5 minutes.
And they only sent 3 Space Marines to help deal with that line.
They sent more.
6. They sent 6.
Oh, did they?
The other 3 were standing by.
The other 3 were told by Titus to like keep helping them hold the line while they investigated.
Gotcha. Okay.
honestly, I think one of the cooler moments was when Titus had to sit there and go like heart to heart with Gad and Chiron about all the different
enemy
enemies.
types. Well, yeah, because he had a history in the Death Watch, so he actually knows about them.
He knows everything and anything.
And Chiron were like, so how much experience do you have with Tyranids? And they're just like 3 days, so basically only this engagement. And Titus just says, well, you have a lot to learn then.
Boom. Peak. You got a lot to learn, buddy. I'll teach you. You know what's funny? You said Galadriel too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's
Yeah.
we're gonna have it
You
eventually.
got-
We're all fucking up. It's okay.
He got you, Noah.
He's got that beautiful hair.
His hair sucks in the game though, so I'll
the
consider
way
it.
the way the way
I'll
Titus the way
consider it
Titus the
improvement.
way Titus says that too is again a really good reveal of like how his character is now.
Yeah, he's very
Like
hardened.
again no nonsense hardened. Yeah, like he doesn't want to reveal too much to them because that'll just give away what the hell he used to be.
That shit changed him, man.
Well, also, I'm pretty sure Death Watch Space Marines are like they're signed to secrecy about the Death Watch.
Yeah, they probably are. I don't know too much about that, but they most likely are. Because even the captain, the captain threatens you about telling them, and the chaplain threatens you.
Yeah, basically threatens you with like don't overstep your bounds, otherwise you're going right back.
Yeah, it was an interesting plot point between all of them. I did like the armor. He was pretty chill. To see a character, because normally Mechanicus are fucking assholes.
Yeah, they are, but luckily this one was like, yeah, hey Titus, you don't need to like give me the honorifics. We've known each other long enough. You can just call me by my name.
Yeah.
Which was nice to see because like yeah, Mechanicus can usually be a bunch of hard asses and they don't treat any organic with any sign of respect.
Because that's just how the Mechanicus are.
Yeah, it's very rare to see
they're very uptight about their practices.
Yeah, it's very rare to see the Mechanicus not being a cunt, and it felt nice to see that. That was pretty badass. Humanizing the fucking people that think matter over mind kind of situation. Like, my robot will be far more superior than my actual hand.
The flesh is weak.
I think another cool and interesting thing was when we shot that massive fucking plasma gun at the Tyranid ship.
Like 3 or 4. Yeah, we shot 3 or 4 of them, and it just
dude,
it popped it like a zit.
That thing just
went
away.
That was probably one of the most cinematic moments to see in the cutscenes.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
You're firing a massive beam, and you can see just the ship splinter. Well, I don't think it splintered apart, but more like it punched
it just
massive moon-sized hole into the damn thing.
It popped, man. It's like it would be like shooting a gun at an actual bug. It just popped.
Yep.
The jetpack suiting ups. That shit was cool.
Another great moment. They were really fun to use.
Very fun.
The chaplain preaching. That was like it hit different. You could feel that he was like, my brothers.
It felt real.
You may die, but the Emperor's light will forever be with you, for you are his angels.
He had plenty of speeches throughout the campaign too.
Oh,
he always felt relevant no matter what.
Oh, there's actually an achievement for hearing all his speeches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got them all.
We
got them all. It's funny.
The
name of the achievement's like, oh god, it's you guys again.
Speaking of preaching though, go ahead, Abel.
And speeches in general, the guardsmen speeches, every single one was hard fucking core. They were all good.
My favorite speech was the one where the officer is sitting on top of the Lehman Rust tank on the Hive City, and it's the beginning of the mission. He is raising the morale of these Imperial Guard that no doubt are going to perish at this war-sized skirmish. But he is doing it in such a way where even I as like a Space Marine, I'd be like, damn, this is a great speech. If I was led by you, I think I'd never be able to die. I'd fight with every ounce of my breath.
That's what the Guard is great at. It's really what the Guard is great at, is soothing people that are probably on their way to death's door into it with a fire in their belly.
What's also a badass moment as well is seeing like right next to that speech happening is them also shooting is them also shooting like deserters and all that.
Yeah, they're
Showing
executing
like showing
people that are running. Probably even Chaos later on in that same mission. There's Chaos Guardsmen. So that could have been Chaos Guardsmen.
no doubt.
For all we know, yeah, they could have just been Chaos Guardsmen sneaking around.
I mean, even the Commissar was sitting there or giving out the orders. That was a great part of the game. Just watching
Yeah.
them
The
naturally,
executions.
just watching them naturally do what they're supposed to do as guardsmen. I don't think any game really does that, showing the guard. They're always ignored for whatever reason, even though they are the backbone of the Imperium.
Yeah.
But speaking of the guard, watching them march pretty much to victory, I would say, with all their tanks, all of their vehicles.
Yeah, the armor line.
The line of tanks, dude. That shit was awesome.
Walking along with it, being
just
like,
like-
"All right, I'm about to see a massive battle, and I'm about to fight in it."
And
just like in tabletop, their firepower in terms of their tanks, their artillery pieces, their heavy weaponry, it's what makes the Imperial Guard what they
Yeah.
are.
it was showing the
Like,
scale of
like,
40K correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, these guard do not give a shit. They will fucking stomp you. They are going to use their superior firepower to beat you down. And it felt
Or
like
else
that
they're-
when they were marching their artillery out.
Hell or high water, those Imperial Guard are either gonna die that day or they're gonna win the day.
It's neither of the two. You're either losing or they're dying with gun in hand.
Yeah, either way, the conflict will change right then and there,
Yeah.
and they'll throw as many bodies as they need to get it done.
Yeah, they
have the
really will.
bodies.
They've got the people.
We have the tech.
I will also say getting that salty run back against the Carnifex felt great.
Felt good.
Felt so
Now,
good to beat his ass.
Now I forgot about this moment. When did this happen?
It's when
This
you're in the
happened
chapel.
It's when we're in the chapel when we're climbing up to do one of the missions. This Carnifex just comes busting through a door.
Yeah, a golden
And
set
me-
of doors.
And me and Abel are just like, it's time.
Yeah, we were
Oh,
both
shit,
like, oh
right.
yeah, it's time to fuck this guy up.
I have to play that mission again because like that memory is so hazy for me.
That's
I wish I could remember that.
him clawing out the door, like, because at first, like, it slams and you're like, what the hell is that? And then you see the claw, and I'm pretty sure both Noah and I went Carnifex. He's back.
Carnifex. Time to beat some ass. All right. Let's see. Well, honestly, seeing the chaos for the first time is very jarring because they literally come out
Of nowhere.
with an explosion
It
and
out of the
Yeah,
blue.
yeah. They're trying to soothe the Space Marines to be like, no, it's fine. We're all good. Just move on.
We were told to be here. But since the Space Marines are technically above the Astra Militarum, they know the orders they're supposed to be on. And they knew damn well they were not supposed to be there. So,
and so the guardsmen get a little spicy. They blow themselves up, and then boom, a
chaos.
warp portal, and 3 Rubric Marines come walking out.
And ironically
gone.
enough, start killing the traitor guardsmen as well. They're killing everyone in their path. It was an interesting thing to see.
Never
It's
trust a
probably
traitor.
it's probably because they just saw them in like regular uniforms for the Imperial Guard.
Maybe.
That's my guess.
Or it could have just
I
been a
think
Zinch
like,
thing
oh.
of kill everything you see.
That's fair.
Who knows?
Yep.
But
Great introduction for the rubrics though.
It
Fucking
was.
Oh,
loved it.
awesome
and that led to Charon just absolutely going fucking
going batshit.
batshit insane, went berserk.
Then taking on the Doom Marine approach of just shooting down whatever comes through the portal.
Yeah, he
Yep.
went insane, man. He started I had me worried that for a minute because I started to like Charon a lot. Like, oh man, is this guy going to corn, bro? No way. Because his voice started getting distorted. Like he
Deep.
was
Deep
getting
angry.
angry. But later on in the story, they soothed that with saying, oh, he was on Calf, and I saw
They explain
how
they
why.
explain
shitty
it they
people
explain
were.
it away, which is really good.
Explain why you got so pissed off.
Yeah,
And as the mission goes on, we later see like what more chaos presence as they're trying to,
break
get
into.
to, get to someone, and we're just seeing the sheer amount of chaos and how honestly they weren't getting far in the door, but there was just such a large warp presence so quickly.
Just there. It was
Yeah,
in a
there.
matter of
Yeah, it
minutes.
was
They're
it was
there.
it was basically under the nose of the Imperial Guard and the Ultramarines. It was
They
so
had like
crazy.
completely corrupted like a whole chapel and everything.
Yeah, it was insane how quick they were, how organized they were. Just instantly, just boom, get in there. We're gonna corrupt this place. All this Zinch corruption. We're gonna bust open this door and we're gonna get this
Get
fucking
this guy
bastard.
and get this guy and get the fuck out.
And it was pretty funny actually. It was kind of badass to see the power of the Imperium at work, stopping Zinch corruption from actually getting them inside the door. That shit was awesome.
Because the Emperor is holy.
The Emperor
and his
protects.
holy light protects.
Now, at one point in the story, we have to go to a Psyker Astropath to send out a call for help to Calgar,
So the
chapter master.
chapter master.
Because of chaos, obviously.
And warn him that chaos is here. We need help like now. And the Astropath and the Astropath's assistant warns them of, if you do
Chaos
this,
corruption. Yeah, chaos.
the
corruption.
Astropath could be corrupted. And even the Astropath tells him, like, shut up. If they
needs to
want to
be
do
done.
it, we need to do this then. If they feel it is that important where I could become a demon host, we're doing it. And unfortunately, at that moment, she does. And Gad starts fighting Titus because the Astropath, doing what Zinch does, lied.
And said that Titus was a traitor.
And because of Chiron's background
Trust.
with chaos and his trust in his leader,
And quick
blows
ass.
that bitch the fuck up.
Blasts her with a fucking
Just
bolter.
annihilates her ass with his bolter pistol.
And then the fucking most chatty man on this side of the planet decides to pop up and be
And
like,
good old
"Haha, it was me the whole time."
and our boy
Emra!
Emra.
He was me the entire time. Cut the guy.
Emra shows up with
On his
his
disc.
good old, the most important part of the game, the floating disc of Zinch. You never fucking see those things. They're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just him popping. I did not expect an actual person to pop up. I expected a demon host to summon and, you fight the demon host. Not an actual human being popping up out of the fucking person.
I don't know if
I
it's
wish
much of a human being.
more discs of Zinch would show up. I mean, all we
They're
get is
cool.
like Warhammer. All we get was from like Total Warhammer 3, but still, they're
Honestly,
amazing in
all the
that.
sorcerers should have been riding on one.
They really
I
should have
agree.
been. I feel like a boss sorcerer, like an actual, not mini boss, but an actual boss sorcerer riding one would have been sick.
No,
not
they're
just Emera's, where about when he gets like 20% health, he fucks off.
Yeah, like leaves.
But I'll say another thing with showing how much Gad changed throughout the whole game, pushes Titus out of the way to endure the pain of a chaos artifact to turn it
I believe
around.
That was Necron, actually. The Necron, it was a Necron
The,
artifact to
yes.
close the warp.
I know it is like with the artifacts, it is technically chaos too, because it is opening it and it is closing it as well. You could argue that, but just the fact he was willing to sit there and go, "Get the fuck out of the way! I'm doing this, sir," and flipping
To
it
prove a point.
to prove that he trusts Titus now.
Yeah, he finally had trust within Titus. That was like near the end of the game at that point.
Yeah, just him willing to take the pain for his captain, for his
My captain.
lieutenant.
Wait a minute. I forgot about a really, really important one. Continue.
Like, just it felt pretty badass. It was very interesting. I love when characters do that. The get down, Mr. President. Allow me, sir.
A really badass moment I do want to pay attention to that I completely forgot was the entire banner scene with the banner scene with Titus.
That's a little later on.
Oh, is it?
That.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a
my
little
bad.
later on. That's after our boy, the Dreadnought,
Dreadnought says, "Hey, shit ass," to a fucking Zinch dragon.
the Helldrake, literally just pulls up to the function, just beats the fucking brakes off of Hellbrute, just beats him to submission, and then turns to you, "Where are the heretics?" and starts fucking marching off. He's hoping that the fucking Primarch of the Thousand Suns is there so he can personally beat his ass. Sees the Helldrake, goes, "Fuck you,
Says-
buddy. Hey, shit
says that
ass,
piece is
catch
mine."
this," and throws a fucking
Fucking
big
statue.
ass statue at
Right-
it and
right-
fucking kills it.
Right before it could just throw its breath all over the entire Ultramarine team.
Just
That was just such a great.
Hey, shit ass
Good luck,
catch.
dude.
just him just absolutely obliterating that fucking Helldrake. That I was sitting there when I was recording it, when I was watching that shit, I was like, damn, what the hell are we gonna do against this thing? I was looking at the Helldrake, I barely see the Dreadnought moving. I'm like, what the fuck's this guy doing? I panned my camera to perfectly see him just grab the fucking thing and chuck it.
Yeah, you both almost missed it because you were just looking at the Helldrake.
That shit was so
Well,
crazy.
let me put it this way: you don't see a Dreadnought or a Helldrake, especially like animated at all.
No.
It's not often you see either of those.
You
things.
see more Dreadnoughts than Helldrakes, and I saw the Helldrake. I was like, wow, that's pretty...
that's why I froze when I saw the Helldrake. I'm like, oh my god, this is like probably the first and maybe only time I'll ever see a Helldrake animated
in a game.
It was
yeah.
amazing. Both
And
in,
then it just
both in
died.
can-
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
it just
that-
died.
And it just got...
I didn't notice what the Dreadnought was doing because I'm like, dude, that's fucking cool. And all of a sudden, out of the right side of my screen comes a massive fuck off pillar, smacks the Helldrake, and
It was
falls
a
into the
statue.
abyss.
I think it was a statue of like a
It was a
saint.
statue.
It was a fallen statue, but I
But
don't care. It's a pillar. It
that
was a massive
shit-
fuck off stone.
That shit was so fucking funny. I think we all just started dying laughing when I said what just happened. That he threw a fucking statue at his ass.
I was shocked as shit that actually
That was
happened.
so funny. It was awesome. That was so fucking metal. That Dreadnought peak. The moment that shit was
Insane.
thrown, that shit's gonna live on in memes forever. Everyone loves fucking Dreadnoughts, and probably people are gonna love Dreadnoughts even more after that.
Absolutely.
But
And then after we do the Dreadnought, we regroup with the fucking Ultramarines.
in the
hold the
squad
line.
banner,
We pull out the squad banner and we just scream, "We hold this ground for the Primarch! Vengeance!" And you just fucking blazing guns.
Everyone shooting.
all of the players, all of the Ultramarines present, Titus holding up the banner with a bolt pistol. It was such an amazing moment because all around you are warp portals opening, letting in Zangors, letting in Chaos Space
yeah,
Marines.
Gores,
A couple of your
Marines,
Ultramarines are falling.
Guardsmen.
Some of the Ultramarines like pay attention
And-
to that. Like, oh, we lost one of our guys.
And if there's actually two squads of Ultramarines that are not with the group. One of them is missing a leg and is actually crawling towards the land. He's missing both his legs. I think he's missing one arm, and he's just dragging himself as we cover him. And another one, a Space Marine, is dragging his fallen brother to the ground
Yeah.
on the right. It's just like it's an awesome scene.
And there's a lot of dialogue of a guy, like one guy says, "They just took my leg, but I'm gonna keep fighting." It's
Cover him, and they're just
It-
like cover him, and then they say later on that he's fallen.
Yeah.
Vengeance!
he
And they just
died
start
and-
blazing more.
like the moment
Blazing
that
more
guy
guns.
died, like he was still willing to fight one-legged standing and keep shooting. And the moment he died, man, they started to do a major push. Like, it was insane. That was such an awesome scene.
And then it cuts into a cutscene where we just see it all looks lost. Hellbrute is coming up, he's crushing Space Marines, knocking them away, and then missiles hit the ground, and there he is, the chapter master of the Ultramarines, Lord Calgar, ripping a new ass into Tzeentch's forces.
Just showing them what it means to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker this side of town.
Once again, another character that you don't see very often in terms of like official media for
I
Warhammer.
don't know.
Like, yeah, seeing Malleus Calgar like actually animated, actually talking was amazing. I'm
And
like,
he-
oh wow.
Yeah.
Just
and he
seeing a
jumps out
chapter
of his
master
ship.
in general.
He jumps out of his ship with his two bodyguards, walks straight to Titus, and he's just like, "Titus, got your message. Report to me."
Give me the report, sir. Like, dude,
And,
Pete,
And
that
then,
shit.
and then- yeah, and
that
then, yeah, and then
last
immediately
mission,
cuts
man.
to like a whole meeting about like what the hell the situation is. It was amazing.
That
then you continue. Then you continue the mission. You do one big push on the beacon of chaos, and Imra tells changer what are they called? The
Changer-
changers.
Changer of ways.
yeah,
Changer of ways to do like a time slow attack. Calgar just fucking face tanks that as Titus and
Yeah.
Gadriel and Charon take cover behind a tank, and Calgar just fucking starts walking. Bitch slaps a fucking Zinchgor out of the way, goes into the war portal, is like, "You're not going anywhere."
Yeah,
And Titus and the group just
Can I-
run in.
Yeah, the moment
can I
Calgar
vote-
activated that shit, dude, just activated his Iron Halo, saved himself. That shit was awesome. Just instant reaction.
I want to poke at that time attack real quick. That was such a cool moment. Seeing everyone like near frozen was such a jarring moment because like it was indiscriminate. Both traders and Astartes were just slowed down to a mere crawl.
Everyone was slowed. No one was spared from it unless you were behind cover, unless you used an Iron Halo and blocked it.
And it was hard on the Iron Halo.
Yeah, I think it shattered
Oh, yeah.
instantly.
But yeah, once you get into that warp portal, you chase down Calgar, you find Emera, you proceed to put your big foot right up his ass and kill him.
Yeah. Oh wait, we didn't mention about the fact that Charon actually pushed Gad out of the way to turn the spire. He barely.
Oh, he did, yes.
Yeah, he pushed
Yeah, he
Gad
did.
out of the way because Gad was
right
going to do
after-
it.
Right after shit ass.
Gad said, I think Gad said he was going to do it, and then Charon pretty much said, "Get out of the way, I'm going to do it." Turned it. I think he had to grab it with both his hands at one point, even with.
Only one.
Was
Only
it one?
No,
I'm thinking of Gad.
He used his. No, he used his robotic hand.
Yeah,
to
he
turn
used
it.
his robotic hand to turn it, and they asked him if he felt it. I'm pretty sure he said, "I barely felt it, but it was still there." And,
Yeah, because he has a robot hand.
yeah, and when Titus goes to turn the last spire, man, that shit, it felt.
No,
That
Titus,
was- Titus turns one at the very end.
that
he's-
means
Was that-
that no, they only
No,
turn,
no,
they
no,
only
no.
they only turn two. Gadriel.
No,
and
Titus turns
Chiron.
one of them over to kill Imra.
No, he doesn't. He rips the chaos thing in half.
You sure?
He wasn't. Yes.
I'm pretty sure he flipped
yeah,
it
that
over.
was in the dream.
No, he was breaking the warp crystal in half to kill Emera.
Because I remember the beam of light changing colors and just fucking annihilating Imra.
Yeah, he broke it in half. He destroyed
Like
it.
that shit.
How do we feel about the boss fight as well for Imra? How do we
Oh,
feel
that shit
about
was easy. That shit was disappointing and easy.
It was pretty disappointing, honestly. Yeah.
Other than when he grabs like individual people and drags them into like
Yeah.
it's a little micro dimension and you have to fight alone for a time, and he does that to each person. Other than that, the fight was really easy.
Yeah, it was kind of cakewalk.
Yeah, I agree.
It's too
I thought it was
easy.
a really I thought it was a really nice spectacle though. Like I do appreciate their attempt to make it like very cinematic, which I did enjoy.
Yeah.
Them separating the players to like toy with them, to mess with them, to see if the characters would break, and they didn't. It was amazing. It was nice.
So yeah, and then you Titus breaks Imra's crystal, and the fight's over. All the chaos has been banished. You wake up and Titus's armor is full of bullet chasms, and he looks like hammered dog shit. And Calgar says, "Stand up. Your duty is not done." Charon gives him a hand, pulls him up. Next thing we know, we're back in the second company's battle barge, and Titus is getting the laurels of victory, the highest honor you can get as an Ultramarine. That proves you are the pinnacle of the son of Gilliman.
And the chaplain comes walking by and has the fucking audacity to sit there and take his helmet off and to unmask himself to reveal himself to be no one else but
Leandros.
fucking Leandros.
I would say that that was a somewhat shocking scene still, because you would think you would have been under a little bit of scrutiny at that point.
Yeah.
And especially since he still has the gall to be like, "You may have tricked the second company captain. You may have tricked the chapter master, but you won't trick me. There will always be an arguable doubt that you are tainted.
And
Yeah, there will always be a taint on you, Titus.
and the fact that Titus pretty much looked at him and just ignored him and said, "Hey, I hear Lord Calgar in there calling me by name again. I'm gonna hop right to it, bitch." And just walked, just pretty much plain ignored him, walked on by. Not easy. Nothing to worry about.
Wham
then the
bam,
fu-
thank you, ma'am.
And then the Thunderhawk closed, and that's the end of the
And that
game.
was the end of the
Leaves it
game.
leaves it perfectly open. Leaves it perfectly open for another one.
Left it open
For us to
another...
review.
Yeah. In another 12
right.
years.
God,
It's been 13 years. Good sir.
13
God.
years. But
Yeah.
let's hope it
We'll-
doesn't take that
We'll,
long.
we'll be back when we're 39.
no kidding. But we did skip a couple things for operations, mainly the bosses that occur there, with the Hive Tyrant as one
Hive
for the
Tyrant.
Nids.
Amazing boss fight.
Awesome boss
So
fight.
good.
That
Boss
shit
fight.
was peak awesome. I like fighting it. I wish it had its own
It-
special execution, but
I agree.
Yeah.
It being a cutscene was disappointing, but overall the boss fight was really fun.
it's very fun.
Very good. And it's the same thing with the Chaos variant where we get to fight a Helldrake in one of the
we get to kill the
operations,
Helldrake.
which
It
is
sucks
awesome.
if you don't have a melee. It sucks if you don't have like a ranged weapon, like a proper one to shoot at it.
The
But
primary.
it was very fun in the vein of how you had to open it up. It was
Yeah, you had to
it was
use
very
the
puzzle like
sigils.
if you if you play Destiny 2, you know about raids. You know how they work. There are puzzles on them. You do them. It's stuff. It was like that, and I actually did enjoy that.
It's like
I
Simon
enjoyed that.
says.
Yeah,
It's very fun to do it. It's fun to kill it. I like it. It's a thing of it's tied to chaos, but you do it once every now and then again. You know, do a couple nids, do chaos. You're gonna enjoy it. Just don't bring
Yeah,
a Melta.
Nah, bring a Melta. Be that guy in the Helldrake mission.
Just absolutely not be able to kill it with the Melta.
yeah. Bring him out there. See how good that goes for you.
But
You still have your plasma pistol.
now we are gonna go to the pros and cons of the game. I think we'll do the cons first, and then we'll do the pros. And I'm just gonna machine gun these out real fast, so you don't have to hear us ramble on. The very first thing, and it's probably the biggest thing, is the end user's license agreement fucking blows that you have to sign to play, forcing it with Epic on the scale of how Disney Plus was with their scandal, where if you sign it, you can't sue them. Good luck. I don't like it. Some would argue that makes the game not worth buying.
Fair point to make.
I don't agree, but I also do agree at the same time. It's a weird conundrum. The second one is the pairing of bigger enemies can feel quite awkward at times when more than one of them is swinging at you. I'm not sure why it does that, but every now and then again you will parry them both. Sometimes you won't parry either of them. Sometimes you'll only parry one. It's very strange. I'm pretty sure all of us have felt that at one point or another.
If they're swinging at you at near the same time, it'll parry them both. But if it's like staggered enough where one swings
Oh yeah, you're screwed.
and then another swings, that's when you get it.
Yeah, it
You're
sucks
gonna
when
get
that
hit no matter
happens.
what
You're
you
getting
do.
punished for no reason. You're playing correctly, but you're still getting slapped
Honestly,
across the face.
the best thing to do is if you see that happen is
Dodge.
parry, dodge.
No,
even
gotta
though
just
though
dodge.
it's obviously you're seeing the parry icon, you gotta learn to be like, you know what? There's
Yeah.
gonna be two of them. I gotta dodge.
Yeah, it's not your fault for naturally wanting to parry, but it's also not the game's fault. It's a very niche complaint, but it is a complaint that can get your ass killed a lot if you're not paying attention.
Okay.
But one thing that bugs Noah and I is the grenade delay. And
That is annoying.
when you're getting
person-
hit, when you're
Yeah.
shooting, when you're
As a
swinging,
person that's in melee, sometimes you just want to be able to like drop a grenade and like kind of dash back. Unfortunately, there's that lag that you just can't do that before the swarm's back on you, beating your ass.
yeah, you can't dodge and throw a grenade. There's a delay. Input delay, I guess, is the best way to put it. You can't do shit. All you can do is shoot, but then if you shoot again, you activated the delay again. It's very strange.
You activated my trap card.
Yeah, it's it's rough at times where you want to throw a grenade but you just can't. This game won't let you.
Right.
At least for me with this con, frame rate drops can occur in some areas, and they can get pretty bad for the frame drops. Did it happen to y'all?
No, not really.
For,
Not
for
really.
frame drops for what exactly?
Just
Sorry.
in certain areas where your frame rate just dips out of nowhere.
No, not
Uh,
really. I never encountered that.
I had some
I only had
issues.
I only had frame drops when I was like playing 2 games at the same time.
That's fair. I'm not sure. That was just a me thing, I guess, with how my game would max out its CPU. So it was on Inferno. It would sometimes drop, which is one of the operations missions. Some of the operations missions did that. Some of the campaign missions did that, but they were not as noticeable on campaign, oddly enough. But that is another operations thing. I did find a very strange bug with the ammo resupply caches, where if you have your handgun out, like your pistol, and you have perks to increase your ammunition, it does not give you full ammo. For whatever reason. That's an easy workaround of just having your primary equipped, but that's still stupid. Like, why does that happen? It's dumb. Now, one that I know would annoy people is if you like to run several different classes with different weapons on your, like, say on heavy, if you want to use the Melta and then swap to a plasma rifle later on in the mission, your perks don't change. They stay the same.
And there are perks that are specific to weapons.
For that specific weapon. It's very dumb. I don't know why they had that set up like that. Like, every other game has it to where your class keeps the perks that you selected for that specific class. Like, preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, and 1, 2, and 3 have different perks you can select for each individual one. So if you have the one where your Melta regenerates a bullet when you kill 5 people, that shit's stuck on the plasma now. And it's the same with the guns, too. You can't have a class that's specifically meant for Chaos, one that's specifically meant for Tyranids, for that specific gun. So you have to keep changing it every time you're going to go to Tyranids or Chaos or whatever the fuck. But that's still a small complaint, I think. Kinda. It's weird. One big complaint, though, for me personally, is the Sniper and Las Sniper, the Las Fusel, have random shot deviation.
I know that made you fucking wild.
That made me so angry. Because you would miss very key target headshots, and it would be a body shot, or it'd fly to the right, it'd fly to the left.
Or you just were a bad
It wasn't huge bullet deviation when you had shown us before, but it's enough to where like it where it really matters.
I mean, it shoots above them sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Which is awkward. Like, if it was a little to the right and left, like, fine. But up and down, dude? Damn.
It's the end of the world on that one.
Like, there was nothing you could have done to predict that. But, we said it earlier with the Carnifex, that dodging and getting the perfect dodge reward doesn't work sometimes. Where you get hit still. For whatever reason. I know just today, Noah and I dealt with that.
Yeah.
Was it specifically with the Carnifex, or
it was
was it
specifically with the
enemy?
Carnifex?
Yeah, it was a Carnifex on the Sandstorm.
It's mainly the big ass enemies like that are just wide. The Hellbrute sometimes does it, but his attacks aren't that.
They don't have massive hitboxes like
Yeah.
the Carnifex does when he charges.
I feel like
And
the
I think that's
Carnifex's
and I think that's
hitboxes
mainly
are
why.
bigger than what they actually are.
I think trying to go for that reward on such a massive enemy is just not worth it, because
No.
again, it's a massive enemy. You're better just to dodge, or to just dodge normally, and above all else early instead,
Yeah,
so you can
But
just
if you
avoid
dodge
that
too-
massive hitbox.
But if you dodge too early, you still get hit.
you can still get hit. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Uh,
I feel like that is annoying at times, but armor randomly changing colors as well when you're playing operations is fucking annoying.
That it is.
if anything is a quality of life thing that can be
Yeah,
immersion breaking.
that
I wanted my armor to be this color, and all of a sudden my armor's back to the original Macragge blue. I don't want that.
Yeah, you're sitting
I
there
want
and
it to
like,
be the-
oh, what a nice blue jetpack you got there, Iron Warrior. It's like, wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Wait. Thank you.
we talked about it with the assault, and I felt it was a big enough con to actually put it in with the jetpack being so different in all the game modes. They
consistent
all
in campaign. They're just consistent in campaign and in multiplayer
well,
mostly.
yeah, there's
But
mostly, but
it's drastically different in operations when
it's
it really
so
shouldn't
different. Even with just some of the changes in PvP, like you can't parry, you can't.
Have fun.
You really, I can't have fun. That's me. That's a me thing, though. One of the biggest annoyances.
be. Anti-fun.
So true. One of the biggest annoyances
Honestly.
with Space Marine 2 is the operations and PvP levels do not interchange. If
That does
you
suck.
no life PvP, you're in it for you're in it to win it. Like you're fine. But if you decided
you're in
to
it for the
play the
long haul.
campaign first, play the PvE with the operations, and then go to PvP, you're shit out of luck. Your level 25 sniper in operations is level fucking 0 in PvP. It's bad.
Big suck. The big suck.
Yeah, the hackers being in there got in as a con as well with that. The matchmaking being absolute dog shit of giving you max level players versus your team of level ones.
Level 1. Level 1s, you know, they decided to do the campaign and operations first before going straight to multiplayer.
Yeah, now they're all on your team. I mean,
Fuck
you did
you.
it too, but you know, can I get at least one level 25 for my actions? I feel this is a con, but others may disagree. Others may agree. Where early access money, like spending money to get early access, like buying the enhanced edition, deluxe edition, whatever the fuck they want to call it, the super jerk me off edition for 4 days, 3 days, whatever days early access, doesn't feel right to me. I don't like it.
Fair.
I don't want to
What's your
have to
take now?
spend $20 extra to play something 4 days early when I should have gotten it that day. I pre-ordered the fucking thing. You're getting my money anyways.
No, I don't have much on the topic. I guess I just don't have a problem with it.
It's fair. I mean, I feel like that it's gonna become a major problem. I mean, look what with Epic. You really want to wait a year?
I had such a little problem
See
with
that?
it.
See
I
that's
did
just
it
a,
three-
see to
I
me
did it
that's a
3
separate
times.
topic though because that is a company like being shielded money
Yeah.
by a separate company to do that.
Yeah, they want. The thing is though with that, they want you to show the extra $20. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. That's just a me thing.
Yeah,
Again, that's a separate
early,
topic.
early access matters so little to me. It honestly just because I don't know. It just doesn't matter to me that I did it 3 times.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah,
You
fuck
really
it.
did. It's crazy.
One thing
I'd
that
rather
I
enjoy. I'd rather enjoy the game with my friends
Yeah.
rather than just be like, well, you guys got the lesser
base
edition that
2020
doesn't.
edition.
I got the super deluxe edition, so I get early access. So you're gonna be 4 days behind me. Get fucked.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, by
PvP
the way,
people
let's try-
probably did that shit too, but
Oh yeah. Let's try and wrap this up. By
Yeah,
the way, it's 11 o'clock.
we're on it.
Yeah.
We're on the last bit of the cons. Offline for operations gameplay does not transfer to online. If you get
That
level
sucks.
25 offline, you're level 1 online.
I wholeheartedly agree with this one.
That one hit me the most because I was hit by the hurricane recently.
Yes.
So good luck to me for trying to play online when I had no internet.
Yeah, if you're people like Noah, Hugo, and I, where you will get hit by hurricanes, you will get hit by natural disasters, and to cut off either your internet or your power, and you find ways to get that shit working again for your power, you're shit out of luck.
You're still shit out of luck because you need the internet and power.
You need them both. One big thing is you can only have 990 requisition points, which is the things to purchase your color schemes, your weapons, your weapon upgrades. It's an awkward number at that, because man, some of those,
It's weird.
I think at max it's like 70 or 90 requisition points to
I
purchase something.
think it's 95.
It's I know it's a lot. So 990,
it-
not being able to bank it for later on when they are gonna add more chapters. They are gonna add more
Yeah.
guns.
Mhm.
More guns, more skins, more everything.
More classes,
Yeah.
especially.
Anyways,
Apothecary, please, I want to play it so bad.
all right, we're gonna hammer out these pros real fast. Executions, they're great. They're fun to watch for the first time, but I wish they had more. The story of Titus is great. Story of Gad and Charon
Natural around
Chiron
him.
felt
Peak.
very natural around Titus, and their actions felt very natural. All that shit. They left the story open for a sequel if they truly wanted to go for it, which I hope they do. I really want to learn more
really
about
do.
Titus and see how Leandros tries to fuck him over. I hope. Well, we'll discuss that when a sequel comes out. Gunplay feels okay a lot of the times until random shot deviation screws you over with single shots weapons, specifically like the sniper, the plasma rifle. Anyways, the boss fights are fun. I just wish they had executions on all the bosses, not cinematic cutscenes that are rather weak, in my opinion. Most cosmetics can be earned, but not all of them. They did have a day one DLC, and not having the beak helmet, kind of lame. No
The
beaky.
Beaky.
Man wants the Corvus Corax helmet that's barely used,
Dude.
like since Heresy.
Beak
Dude.
masks are peak.
The Corax helmet is cool, but like
All right.
how
It's your basic horde shooter, so the combat can get quite fun at times, but it can also get quite dull if it's not your cup of tea. It's not your cup of tea. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Understandable.
But
Have
we're
a nice
reviewing
day.
it, so obviously, we're reviewing it, so we obviously love it.
We hopefully love it.
Not Mr. 6.5 over there.
There are multiple things that actually can go wrong in operations to where, oh, this crane stopped working, the chain's stuck, can you fix it? Stuff like that. Oh, the power is out, can you fix it? Oh, there's things fucking the electric pump, can you fix it? You know, we got it.
Kill him.
Yeah, we got it. You know, and the last part is the gunplay can be very fun when weaving in and out of melee, but parts of the campaign takes too long to introduce a lot of the weapons, and some of them aren't even in the campaign. The magic pain glove.
And some of them aren't in the operations. The flamethrower.
The flamethrower is not in operations, but it is in campaign, and that shit is annoying that it's not in multiplayer. The most iconic weapon.
I don't think the laser fuselage is. I don't think the laser
It's in
fuselage is
campaign.
either.
It's in
Oh, it is
campaign.
okay.
It's
I
in
wasn't sure.
campaign.
Yeah,
I remember
it's
the
in
bolt
campaign.
sniper rifle being in campaign, but not
The
laser
last fusel was unlocked like the last mission.
Damn.
Same with the Thunderhammer.
Yep.
God, that's right. Yeah.
They don't have the power fist. They don't have any of that shit, man, in the campaign.
Yeah, power fist should have been in there.
It should have been, but that is our Space Marine 2 review.
Boof.
Yay! That was actually really
And
good.
now, you guys are part of the Horus Heresy, for you are the John Darktides of tomorrow.
You really are John Warhammer for watching this whole fucking thing.
And honestly, if you
battle
listen to us
makes 40 million.
if you listen to this for God knows how long this review is going to end up being, kudos to you. Maybe you are autistic enough to be just like us.
And with that, good luck, Godspeed, and may the Force be with you.